This young man, after eliminating the SSS-Rank Demon King Belphegor with his army, was betrayed by the very person he always considered a comrade. Just when Baiwei thought he would leave in anger, a strange energy suddenly appeared, surrounding him. Hey, let's make a deal. Baiwei was now bound with chains, confused, not understanding where he was. A strange voice sounded right behind him. Hee, handsome guy. Baiwei turned his head and immediately dealt with him. You are Belphegor? You're still not dead? Belphegor casually replied while scratching his ear. Sorry, how could an SSS-Rank Demon King just leave so easily? This is my soul space, and the entire Nidiep kingdom is my true life. Baiwei's face twisted like a monkey's. Stop talking nonsense, get to the point, Belphegor. No beating around the bush. I can feel you are filled with extreme hatred like I am right now, so I want to make a deal with you. My hidden skill is called Life Retrospect. It can send you back to the distant past and give you a chance to redeem yourself, to change everything. Do you want it? In Baiwei's mind, images of members from the Tears Army appeared one after another, tears welling up, recalling the happy and sad memories with them and the scenes of their painful, unjust deaths. Baiwei didn't want to think anymore and declared, I want to destroy him and that whole gang of high gods up there too. Belphegor smirked, showing great satisfaction. Oh, your answer is exactly as expected. That's enough. Then let me help you once. Consider it a meeting gift from me to you. In Belphegor's hand was a heart surrounded by many elements. Before accepting, Baiwei wanted to ask why he wanted to make a deal with him and what the price was. Belphegor seemed to enjoy this straightforwardness and smiled eerily. Just like that, the space darkened. The calls of Baiwei kept startling him awake. Baiwei, don't sleep anymore. In front of him was a woman with huge breasts but a very angry expression. Hey Baiwei, sit up quickly for me. This is 2105, Nai Diep, a vassal state of the Holy Ha Kingdom, middle school awakening student. Once he truly settled down, Baiwei's eyes widened. Had he really returned? Looking at his hands and small body, Baiwei exclaimed, I have returned before awakening? The teacher slammed her hand down, clearly upset. Baiwei, normally cheating in class is fine, but now you're late for the afternoon shift and overslept? Get to the back and stand there. Baiwei's eyes were still wide with shock. The teacher once again confirmed, Are you sure you have returned to middle school? Have I really been reborn? This is the power of that Belphegor? How unbelievable. These classmates haven't met for nearly 25 years. Baiwei just stood at the back of the class. Then the teacher slammed the table again. Everyone, get your spirits up for me. In this world, there are 5 elemental powers in total. They are electricity, fire, cloud, nucleus, and star. Each person can only absorb one element. Like me, the element I possess is the rarest cloud element, combined with other elements, and each person's body. Depending on the combination, we are divided into 3 types: combat, utility, and special. Because the 5 elemental forces combine with different positions, many different professions are born. The strongest guild group in our school is a combination of a group including star mages, cloud warriors, nucleus spellcasters, and electricity assassins. I know that to stand out among hundreds of millions of potential awakeners, you have surpassed others. Since childhood, surrounded by praise and glory, but today is the most important day for you all. Awakening professions. As known, currently there are about nearly 100. Professions divided into 4 qualities from low to high: green, blue, red, and yellow. Each of you only has one chance to awaken. A profession once in a lifetime. This afternoon is the moment to determine your profession, which will decide your future position in this world. Hearing this, Baiwei immediately pondered. How nostalgic, this is the first place I awakened. While leisurely admiring the schoolyard scenery, a bespectacled kid suddenly fell right next to a pig-like bully who was bullying the weak. Behind him were 2 more guys. He put his hands in his pockets and laughed slyly. A bunch of trash. Only relying on external force awakening and still dare to block my way? Do you think you're about to awaken? So you don't need to look down on me? In the eyes of someone with a rare red profession awakening like me, you will forever be just a dried shrimp. This pig named Hong Cuong Thinh is a level E assassin of the star system. Your bespectacled classmate pitifully took out some money and gave it to him. Continuously apologizing, Hong Cuong Thinh is exactly a typical bully at this school. In his previous life, he often had conflicts with classmates. He seems to have hereditary jealousy disorder, so he likes to cause trouble for no reason. Just as Cuong Thinh held the money, Miss Hoang appeared. That's enough, Hong Cuong Thinh. This is a school. Do you want to rob? He was not only unafraid, but turned back with a very mocking expression. Spitting out the stuff, Miss Hoang walked without watching the road and bumped into us, even brazenly approaching the teacher, then waving money in front of her. Compensating each of my brothers with a cup of milk tea isn't too much, right? Then he whispered in her ear as if warning her, Want to help students? It's just because you have some looks. Otherwise, I would have kicked you out of school long ago. Do you understand? Ignoring the arrogant guy's words, Miss Hoang bent down and asked Han, the bespectacled friend, Are you okay? Meanwhile, Cuong Thinh also left, laughing. Let's go. Let's give her some face and let it slide. Bak D stood proudly with both hands in his pockets, eyes staring straight as if challenging. He slapped his shoulder hard. What are you looking at? Move aside. I'll come back later to see how these fake chickens joke around. Bak D stood up, glanced back and saw the bespectacled friend crying bitterly. Sorry, miss. It's my fault for being careless. Don't worry, it's not your fault. Looking closely at this, Bak D silently judged Miss Hoang as a typical teacher. With a hypocritical mouth but kind heart, she had helped him a lot after he awakened. Just then, a group of people waved from afar. Miss Hoang, it's time for the students of your class to enter the awakening room. The teacher was alarmed, reminding everyone to remember clearly that when entering the awakening moment, you must keep your reason as much as possible to avoid injury. There are two types of awakening in this world. One is natural, like Hong Cuong Thin's, which usually happens to people with strong physical constitution and talent, and when emotions surge intensely, they naturally awaken. Besides that, there is another common way: space awakening. This is the crystallization of countless scientists' wisdom. After entering the emotional space, human DNA is stimulated and activated, which greatly helps those with awakening potential. But since each person can only awaken once randomly, awakening a profession change is considered the only chance to restart one's fate. A classmate, after experiencing extreme pain and tension, received the profession of a nuclear system mage and was extremely happy. Haha, I have awakened the blue profession, level S, very great. The teacher looked on happily. Go back there and rest a bit. You must be exhausted. Miss Hoang continued to Bak D. Next is you. Pay attention. Don't act like in class. You must focus. Got it? Bak D replied calmly, I have my own plan. In his previous life, he was a level E nuclear system soldier. After advancing to level S, he awakened the rarest type. Unexpectedly, this time he not only awakened but also gained talent and caused a system error. 5 types of awakening elements detected. The infinite awakening system activated. Bak D broke out in sweat. He clearly felt the heat in his body. A series of notifications appeared, including all 5 elements. The system announced, because your body contains 5 elements, you can choose any element, or any profession as your initial profession. Also, when a certain element accumulates enough, you can choose to receive a new random profession for that element. Bak D was shocked. Wait, what does this mean? Element accumulation? In other words, I can not only choose the element and profession that I've awakened but also receive new professions later? Can I get the blue 6, blue, red, yellow, all qualities, even a profession with special qualities like that one? The system answered, correct, but you can only choose the initial profession. Subsequent professions will be random. You recalled the previous words of the Belphegor, so let me help you once, so this is what he brought to you. Infinite awakening ability system sounded after choosing the initial profession. Then all elemental bars will be erased. Please choose carefully. Suddenly, Bak D's mouth showed a very dangerous expression. Outside, the students anxiously waited. Why did SAO take so long in there? Ah, he finally came out. Miss Hoang hurried over to ask, what profession have you awakened? Bak D lowered his head and sincerely replied, sorry for disappointing you. I have awakened a nuclear system warrior with blue quality NDT 6. Oh, I see. Is that so? No. Even with blue quality 6, many extraordinary talents have been born. As long as you don't give up, this world will not disappoint you. Bak D was stunned. You don't need to comfort me. I know your heart is definitely unsettled. Go rest now. You must have consumed a lot during the awakening just now, right? At that moment, Hong Cuong Thinh, a notorious bully at level E, sneered, as long as you try, this world will not disappoint you. Haha, I remember the teacher is very capable though. How can you say such useless and toxic nonsense, miss? Do you know that? Reality is basically not like that. Blue quality 6 represents the lowest class. This world is just like that. The gods will choose people. They only choose the strong, and the weak can only be humiliated. Just hearing the word God made Bak D's heart flare with killing intent. The God is the one who caused the team to betray and die unjustly. Miss Hoang frowned and scolded sharply. Why are you here again? Hong Cuong Thinh still laughed arrogantly without respect. Of course you understand, right? Blue quality 6 profession means from now on, you can only sit at the back row to listen to lectures. Why? Because society is like that. Those without ability, without background, and without future will always be at the back and abandoned by fairness. The strong can get better resources, and they will become stronger. The weak blue 6 must suffer a tragic fate from the moment they awaken and only can become low-level janitors among the awakened. What nonsense about changing life through effort? Blue quality 6 becoming a genius? Can you believe such bullshit? It's like when a person is born, their future life is already decided. Our awakening school is just a miniature world. Isn't this reality? Blue quality 6 profession, just honestly be a useless person eating and teaching at school. After speaking, he turned to criticize Bak D. That blue quality 6, hurry home as soon as possible. Don't waste government resources anymore. The insult made Bak D angry. He grabbed the glass of water in his hand and decisively threw it into his face. His face was smeared and trembling with anger. "What the hell are you doing, Bach Di?" He coldly wiped his hand. "I don't want to hear you talk." Cuong Thinh was provoked and then went wild. "Ha ha. You bastard. Are you trying to die?" He roared and activated the Thorn Star Mace, the normal attack of the Assassin Star system, increasing attack power and striking directly at Bach Di. Thought that was enough to deal with Bach Di. Unexpectedly, he activated the counter skill to block the youth's attack, spun around lightly, and knocked Cuong Thinh far away. Witnessed by many, blood spurted from Hong Cuong Thinh's mouth, stammering, "What happened?" The surrounding students were stunned, only able to stare wide-eyed. What just happened? How did he do that? "What is it?" Bach Di placed the sword on his shoulder and calmly said, "This profession was chosen by myself, because I am used to it." The system announced, "Light Sword of the Nuclear Warrior System, attack plus 20, evasion plus 20. Hong Cuong Thinh tried to get up, laughing bitterly. "Ha ha ha, you just got lucky to dodge a bit. I am a rare red profession, completely different from trash like you, but only Miss Huang recognized the truth. No, it couldn't be luck just now. What he used was body technique, the unique top-level skill of the warrior profession called counterattack. At the moment of receiving the strongest attack, it blocks the damage and within 0.09 seconds surpasses reaction limits and reflects physical damage back to the opponent. This is a move that my teacher has been practicing for 15 years but still hasn't mastered. He is someone who just awakened, having absolutely no combat experience. How could he do that?" Cuong Thinh gritted his teeth, pulled out the characteristic bayonet knife of the assassin class, system attribute attack plus 30. "Speed plus 30, he growled. "Have you prepared for death yet?" "You useless brat, I will make you crawl in front of everyone, but for Bach Di, choosing a seemingly weakest class actually hides a deep reason. From birth, fate seemed predetermined. It took many years before a person realizes it is a fatal mistake." The students watching the two facing off murmured, "Could they be about to fight?" Fighting is strictly forbidden in school, having awakened to fight separately. Moreover, there are so many people present at the scene. Everyone knows behind Cuong Thinh is a powerful force. His father is a high-ranking official. His uncle is the principal, while Bach Di comes from a poor background with no support. The bespectacled friend who was bullied panicked. If he accepted this challenge and acted here, he would be expelled from school. "Miss, what should we do?" Miss Hoang hurried out to mediate. "Today everyone just awakened as well, so later they might become teammates in the future, so don't provoke. Better to stop here." But Cuong Thinh laughed arrogantly. "What are you joking about? That brat just now dared to challenge me? You tell me to stop, so I must stop? Even if he kneels now begging for mercy, it's useless. I will make him know." The gap between the chosen and the loser is an insurmountable distance. The teacher nervously sweated, thinking to herself, "That's right, the difference in quality is huge. It lies in different attributes, simply put to make it easier to understand. The additional attribute of green quality is 100%, meaning no change, while the same class with blue quality is 150%, and with red quality, it will be 200%. At the moment of awakening all attributes, red class doubles the strength of green class. This power gap can never be overcome." The bespectacled friend only frowned worriedly. No matter current strength or background strength, Bach Di was completely crushed by the opponent. Are you too free or what to offend someone stronger than you? Such trash people are really disgusting. But if we want to survive in such a chaotic society, we need to learn to stay away from trash. When you can't avoid it, you must learn to be humiliated. Only flexibility can survive long-term. Direct confrontation is the dumbest choice. Cuong Thinh didn't hesitate, immediately unleashed a violent skill. Additional power, 32%, critical hit plus 20%, lifesteal plus 15%. He charged at storm speed. Teacher Hoang worriedly shouted, "Bach Di, be careful while he's rushing." Bach Di still stood still, analyzing whether to block or not, but blocking skill consumes a lot of stamina. Hong Cuong Thinh's attack was very strong, plus his speed was too fast. This time it can't be blocked. Cuong Thinh roared, "Let's see where you can run this time," but Bach Di just curled his lips in a cold smile. "Run? Why should I run?" Immediately, he activated the haste skill. Speed increased by 50% in an instant. Combined with shield bash, speed reached the limit, activating flash effect. His body slid through the air, narrowly dodging the slash, leaving Cuong Thinh's knife swinging into empty air. When he realized, Bach Di was right behind him. Since when did he automatically run behind me? Cuong Thinh struggled to turn, but his body suddenly froze, blood spurting continuously. Bach Di sneered, "If it's trash, it should be thrown in the trash bin." The crowd was stunned. No one understood what just happened. No, it seemed Hong Cuong Thinh fell to the ground by himself. What happened? Did he slip? Why did he suddenly fall like that? This time I didn't see clearly what happened. But behind was a pink-haired girl, who was the class president named Ekshij Ngam. She keenly noticed at the moment Hong Cuong Thinh attacked, he once again activated the haste skill, characteristic of the warrior class. Moreover, that haste skill is a high-level shield bash type. Then what did he do at that moment to cause the opponent to get injured? But with just one move, he easily defeated his opponent. The truth is, Bach D is not only proficient in basic skills, but also knows how to perfectly apply them in actual combat. Even at that moment, he was calm enough to consider not publicly violating the school's prohibition order. What exactly happened to Bach D? At this moment, the system sent a notification to Bach D. Experience increased. Received 50 experience points. Profession experience points level 1 is 50 out of 1,000. Element accumulation. Received 50 points for causing severe elemental damage to the opponent. Refinement level E. The young man thought to himself, just as I guessed, using a combat profession can accumulate experience for the profession. Defeating an elemental opponent will also earn elemental points. But 50 points is too little. Looks like I need to grind some dungeons quickly. Suddenly, Cuong Thinh rose with a fierce expression. Hey, don't mess up. I'll deal with you. He staggered, grabbed his sword, and charged again. But before he could act, a stern voice rang out. That's enough. Haven't you realized you're making a fool of yourself? Isn't that enough? Cuong Thinh could only stammer, Uncle, The person who just appeared was Hong Luong, the homeroom teacher of the Awakening Academy's middle school block. He glanced over the group of students. Everyone who awakened today is already tired, so don't just stand here watching the drama. Conveniently, today is the weekend, so everyone should go home early to rest. Now go report your awakening profession to your family members. And you. Do you know the school has strictly forbidden this? Bach D thought it was because he had just been reborn, so he didn't react immediately. Why? If he had returned 25 years ago, then all of them would still be alive. On the awakening day, the 22nd of May, 2005, another serious incident happened. How could I forget this? This is the most important matter. Hong Luong was still calling while Bach D had a blank expression. That kid, he didn't hesitate and ran quickly. Seeing Bach D run away, Hong Luong glanced at Miss Hoang nearby and said, Please manage your students. Today, I will pretend nothing happened and won't pursue it further. Yes, I apologize. In the office, Hong Cuong Thinh was still upset, explaining to Hong Luong, Damn it, if that brat is unlucky, then you absolutely cannot lose to him. He slammed his hand on the table angrily. Do you know what that kid opposite you did? The moment you charged at him, he used a high-level shield skill, but more importantly, just before he vanished, right at the moment before you two collided, he found the weakest point on your body and delivered an extremely powerful blow that completely broke your defense. This series of moves uses the maximum basic skills of a warrior, but even with 15 years of battlefield experience, you might not be able to use them so skillfully. The fight between you two was like a professional using basic moves to mess with an elementary school student at the highest level. This kid is not as simple as you think. Meanwhile, Bach D was still running home with all his strength. If that's the case, after rebirth, besides revenge, there's still something I need to do. He stopped in front of a familiar house, sweat beading, eyes red-rimmed. This is it. Even if I die, I must stop this from happening. The massacre in the family now is the 22nd of May 2105. Inside, a familiar voice sounded, Oh, you're home. Why did you get off school early today? Bach D's eyes welled with tears. Seeing his loved one still alive. Mom, you're still alive? That's so good. The mother couldn't speak, only used gestures. Mom made your favorite spicy sour noodles. Mom, I want to eat sour fish soup today. She gestured. Tomorrow. Today Mom prepared spicy sour noodles and more, but he insisted, Mom, go now. I really want to eat it today. You're hopeless. In the afternoon, the mother had to go out, and Bach D trailed behind awkwardly. Mom, let me go with you. At that moment, Bach Di's father, sitting cross-legged on a chair, spoke. Just Mom going is enough. Kid, what's wrong with you today? You came home but didn't even greet your dad. Isn't today awakening day? Quick, tell your dad some good news. He poured beer and plopped down. This man is Bach Lin, level 26 warrior, electric system. I got off work early to come home and congratulate you, Bach D quietly replied. I missed it. I didn't awaken today. Today wasn't very lucky because the awakening took too long. It's still not your turn, so why did you come home early today, son of the great thunder? Saying he has awakened a blue profession, both father and son are useless. A son born from a white spirit. At least it should be a red profession. Back then, I had no conditions but still awakened a red profession. Now I work hard to earn money to support you. Your father has poured all his passion into you. So tell me, what is your profession? He exuded a rank aura to examine his son. Before the son could finish speaking, a bottle of wine flew straight into Bach C's head. Blue 6? You pretend to work hard at school all day for what? Why awaken a blue 6 profession, you useless thing? Are you trying to embarrass me? This man was not only a fake awakener but also a hot-tempered abuser. Unable to control his emotions, memories from a past life surged, tightening Bach D's heart on this very day. After learning his son was only blue 6, he went mad and beat his mother severely. Bach D stood in front to protect her. Then he was beaten until his leg broke, suffered a brain injury, and eventually developed mental illness. Currently, Bach D is only an E-rank core system soldier. Although he chose it for its special traits, his strength is still too weak now. Lin Sin, get up. He has a pink C-rank profession, experienced in combat, very different from students like Hong Cuong Thinh. Bach D clearly knows he cannot face him yet. I really made a mistake. I shouldn't have let your mother give birth to you. Today, he had been waiting for his son early. He must have results, but at least Bach D managed to do one thing: get his mother out of this place. Just then, the food bag suddenly fell to the ground. Bach D was startled and looked toward the door. Why did he come back so early? Could it be that mother came back to let me eat faster? Lin Sin sneered mockingly. You're back, huh? Let's see what kind of trash you've brought me. A strange voice suddenly echoed in the silent space. I heard that. You are the first to evolve a blue 6 profession. Normally, the lowest profession must be blue in rank A to enter the evolution stage. The man continued questioning with curiosity. But why did you evolve so early? He clenched a half-burnt cigarette between his lips and pressed further, and it was even from blue 6 to platinum, 1 in a million. Bach D silently lowered his head, then suddenly questioned, saying, Why were you arrested here? Only death row prisoners come here. After a long silence, he coldly said it was because he deserved to die. How could he? Bach D's eyes turned bloodshot as he stared at the face twisted with extreme hatred. Killing mother like that, from head to toe, Bach D was soaked with a sticky liquid. Not an inch of cloth was dry. And the disgusting source of that liquid was none other than the bottle of wine lying in the father's hand. The man raised his hand, preparing to strike another cruel blow on his wretched wife. That woman was none other than Bach C's mother. A wooden chair was knocked over, lying bare on the cold floor. Bach D struggled to support himself and stand, feeling the wetness under his palm. Looking down at a spreading dark red pool of blood, he muttered, An awakened person with skills, even without using any skills, is much stronger than ordinary people. The intense pain made Bach D's body convulse uncontrollably. He gritted his teeth and cursed silently. Ordinary people simply couldn't withstand such a blow. His mother, with a panicked face, hurriedly rushed over. She spread her arms wide, forming a shield determined to protect her son from danger. Witnessing that scene, Lin Sin became even more ferocious, growling, Do you really want to die? Suddenly, he recalled old memories. His voice deepened like Van's. That day, I discovered you were pregnant with a son. I was truly happy. Lin Sin bent down, grabbed a nearby chair tightly, and gritted his teeth, saying, I thought the opportunity for the Bach family to prosper had finally come. He muttered bitterly to himself because those two bastards couldn't have sons. But Lin Sin, I can, Lin Sin screamed, spitting harsh words at his wife's face. The Bach family can only rely on me to glorify the ancestors. Like Van? Stunned, her eyes wide and dazed, she questioned her husband with a trembling voice, but why? Lin Sin roared angrily, blaming all responsibilities on his poor wife. Yet she awakened. The most useless blue 6 profession? You useless bastard. You can't even evolve. It's all because of your pathetic jealousy. Immediately, he raised the wooden chair high above his head, seemingly furious, as if wanting to take his wife's life. Like Van, trembling and tightly closing her eyes in extreme horror at the terrible thing about to happen, a strange blue light suddenly flared up. At the same time, a cold voice rang out, announcing the shield's activation when the speed reached 100%, the previous effect. In a flash, it could be activated to overcome the obstacle ahead. The wooden chair gritted its teeth. In Lin Sin's hand suddenly shattered into hundreds of fragments, his eyes wide open with dense red bloodshot veins. His face wrinkled with ferocity. Bach D tightly gripped the sword in his hand, shielding Van behind him. Facing the father, who had just been thrown far away, Bach D's face was smeared with dried blood streaks. He gritted his teeth, glaring threateningly at Lin Sin. Don't touch her. Lin Sin stared at the smoking cut wound. A savage laugh burst from his hand. Interesting, isn't it? Van was horrified by the scene unfolding. She continuously screamed in panic. Lin Sin slightly twisted his body, cracked his neck, then loudly said, Well then. Very good, very good. Bach D tightened his grip on the sword. Before him was the image of his father losing control. Rushing toward him with a furious expression, a hurried thought echoed in his mind. Surely it will still take a moment. First, I will block him. As soon as the thought flashed in his mind, Lin Sin appeared right in front of him. So fast it was unbelievable. A brilliant streak of light suddenly exploded. At the same time, a voice sounded in his head. The object chose the right moment to block the attack precisely, able to eliminate 100% of the damage within 0.09 seconds, with a chance to reflect the physical damage completely back to the opponent. Light enveloped the sword in Bach D's hand, making it seem to dissolve into the air. He whispered softly, Break the defense. He clutched his chest as fresh blood gushed from his mouth, struggling to speak. Directly breaking my defense. The gap in strength was many times greater. A digital notification appeared before his eyes. Name: Lin Sin vertical bar. Level: 26 vertical bar. Rank: C. Vertical bar. Profession: Warrior vertical bar. Attribute: Electric vertical bar. Ability boost: plus 400%. At the same time, Bach D clearly felt his condition rapidly worsening. His bones ached painfully. Feeling like they were about to break, he gritted his teeth, crossing his arms tightly in front of his chest, trying to form a final defensive layer. Rage exploded. Lin Sin roared, preparing to deliver another ruthless blow. Now you dare to resist your father, you rebellious son? The black lightning accelerator increased movement speed, causing all attacks to have electric shock effects. Van's face turned pale, eyes wide with horror. Witnessing the terrifying scene before him, Bak Di hurriedly raised his hand, trying to shield himself from the impending fury. Lin Sin's eyes blazed with anger. He curled his lips into a bizarre smile, his tone full of sarcasm. You're a bit hasty. At the moment of imminent danger, Bak Di trembled, telling himself he absolutely could not dodge. Seeing Bak Di stand motionless, Lin Sin mocked him with utter contempt. You have some spirit, huh? But what good is that? With such a weak profession, even if you survive, you'll just get beaten to death. With iron will, Bak Di silently resolved that in this life, he would never let any tragedy happen again. Lin Sin picked up the wooden chair from the floor. His eyes flashed with cruelty as he growled, Do you think your awakening is something wonderful, huh? He roared like a wild beast, raising the chair high as if wanting to crush Bak Di. So now you can't tell who the true Heavenly King is, old man? Just at the tensest moment, a loud knock on the door rang out, accompanied by a strange, arrogant voice. Open the door for me quickly. Lin Sin gritted his teeth, cursing crudely. Damn it, who dares disturb me now, huh? Under my mother's protection. Bak Di was startled by the rapid knocking. He trembled and whispered, They're here. Lin Sin, full of murderous intent, forcefully yanked the door open and shouted, Who the hell is knocking? With a challenging tone, Lin Gang questioned, Why so long without opening? Are you busy or what? Deputy Captain Lin Gang of the inspection team, Red A-rank divine official, and beside him, Lin Gang, was Investigator Tran Kim Vu of the inspection team, Blue C-rank divine official, recognizing who stood before them. Lin Sin turned pale, stammering, Deputy Captain, why are you here? Li Nang held out a wanted order in front of Lin Sin. In a serious tone, we received a report that a wanted criminal named Snow has appeared near this building, so we will investigate each house. Have you seen anyone suspicious here? Snow's image is clearly printed on the wanted poster. Lin Sin forced a laugh. This guy appears on TV every day. If he shows up, I will definitely report him, hidden behind Bak Di with a battered appearance, his sharp eyes fixed on Lin Gang. Finally, after observing for a while, Lin Gang froze when his gaze met Bak Di's. Wait, your son! Why? Lin Sin hurriedly patted Lin Gang's shoulder, trying to cover up the truth with a clumsy explanation. This idiot is careless himself. I told him to buy vegetables. Yet he still managed to fall. Deputy Captain, no need to worry about such a small matter. As soon as he finished speaking, Bak Di spoke coldly and emotionlessly. Isn't it because he was beaten by you? Lin Sin's face turned cold as he glanced at him. Suddenly, a system notification appeared. Advancement stage has very few professions that can activate the second awakening based on their initial profession. To increase combat power, Bak Di recalled what happened 18 minutes ago downstairs. He made an emergency call, reporting, I saw someone enter Building A of the Fu Tu Duyet mansion. He looks exactly like Snow's image online. He silently calculated before going upstairs, having called the store opposite. That way, a team would come to check upstairs soon. If the guard team had received news about Snow, they would definitely use full force. But unexpectedly, their investigation team arrived so quickly, but the time was enough. Facing Lin Gang, Lin Sin frowned, his eyes scrutinizing. What he said is true? Lin Sin panicked and quickly explained, He's just joking with you. How could I do that to my own son? Heartbroken, before he could react, Bak Di interrupted, exposing the truth. His arm was hit by a chair, his head smashed by a wine bottle. Here he was punched, there he was kicked. All the wounds on your body can be examined immediately. Lin Sin's pupils contracted as he secretly glanced at him. Meanwhile, Lin Gang was stunned, his eyes clearly showing confusion. Bak Di looked straight into their eyes. Unwavering, he declared loudly. Awakened individuals have violent behaviors, cannot control themselves, and intentionally harm others. Article 8, Clause 4 of the Awakened Management Regulations clearly states that if the perpetrator poses a danger, they must be arrested immediately and detained in the awakened prison for 15 days. These words were like a bucket of cold water, waking the two members of the inspection team from their shock. Lin Sin clenched his teeth, his face flushed with anger. He turned around, eyes blazing at Bak Di. Bak Di, are you out of your mind? Lin Gang stepped forward one step, his voice firm and resolute. Lin Sin, I am Lin Gang from the supervision team. I will arrest you according to the law. You have the right to remain silent. As soon as the words were spoken, Lin Sin lost control. Like a wild beast, he lunged at Bak Di. Damn you, you son of a... Kim Vu quickly reacted, grabbing him tightly. Calm down. If you resist, we will have to use coercive measures. Before the figure disappeared behind the cold iron door, Lin Sin still screamed wildly. Bak Di! Just wait for me! Kim Vu immediately shouted with authority, Order! The heavy door closed with a resounding thud. Bak Di hurriedly turned his head, eyes searching for Nu Van. Mom! Nu Van rushed forward, hugging her son tightly, tears streaming endlessly. Bak Di gently comforted, Mom, it's okay now. The corner of his mouth slightly lifted in a relieved smile. This time, I protected Mom. I still have 15 days left. Bak Di tilted his head slightly, his gaze tenderly looking at Nu Van. Mom, rest assured, this is the last time. In his heart, he promised himself he had enough time to get stronger. Bak Di's hand gently placed on Nu Van's thin back, tightening gradually as if to transmit strength. The burning pain from the lash marks deeply embedded in the skin, along with the memory of the recent beating flooded back. He gritted his teeth, promising himself this beating would not be in vain. Just now, I stole his safe key. Once again, he opened his rough palm, revealing a small, cold key lying silently in his hand. In Bak Di's eyes flashed a ruthless and determined gleam. He muttered, Back then, he didn't hesitate to stab his teammate in the back, just to seize that thing, the one that helped him climb from the lowest E rank to the current C rank. After comforting Van, who was sobbing for a while, Bak Di cautiously and gently entered the room, his steps heading straight to the safe. A low voice sounded. Normally, he always hid the most secret things in the safe in his private room. Bak Di's hand trembled slightly as he inserted the key into the lock. He told himself that he even hid it from his family, slightly bending down. Bak Di squinted to look more closely, muttering that in his previous life, he only learned about the existence of this thing after the man died. From inside the safe, Bak Di pulled out a sharp blade. His eyes blazing with fire, he thought, If you have a brow, I can try solo farming demons now. Then he quietly left the house, blending into the darkness. Bak Di walked while contemplating the current situation. Only demons can level up a profession, but now all demons are under the Divine's control, and only guild members can enter. The only demons I can access now are those managed by the school. A blue spiritual aura continuously enveloped Bak Di's body. He whispered that hidden demons were all he knew in his previous life, his eyes fixed on the ruined architectural structure. The desolation before him, he muttered softly. Hidden demons, suitable level, difficulty. Bak Di frowned. His determined eyes looked forward, silently telling himself to use the fastest speed. To surpass everyone, more specifically, demons are places where monsters dwell. After entering, a professional can accumulate experience by fighting monsters to increase combat power, as well as level and rank from E to D to C to B to A on the 22nd of May, 2105. Friday at 22:02, in the detention room of the supervision team, members of the inspection team were discussing. This time it alarmed the whole team. Our deputy guard, even the deputy leader, was mobilized, but the result was nothing found. Could it be fake news? Sao Lin Sin was now imprisoned in a cramped cell, eyes staring straight at the people outside. But no one cared about him. They kept discussing whether it was true or false. As long as it involves rebels, we absolutely cannot let our guard down. Some pointed fingers. The announcement was neatly placed on the table, causing a stir on the day the team was established. That snow appeared in our province is indeed a big deal. Kim Vu looked up and sideways, probing with a question. Heard that this time the captain will return early, right? Before he could finish, Lin Gang coldly interrupted. That's not the issue we should discuss, Lin Sin shouted loudly from behind the bars, begging. Please, deputy leader, go first. This is my first time. I will never make this mistake again. The man revealed a sinister, despicable face. He sneered miserably and said, I heard the deputy leader's wife is about to give birth, and my good brothers are opening the best birthing center in the province. Li Ingong angrily slammed the file on the table, shouting, Are you trying to bribe the inspection team? Whatever you say, you were once a member of the guild. Anne angrily pushed the door open and quickly stepped outside. Why has SAO come to this point without clarity? Lin Sin's fingers trembled slightly on the cold bars. I, Kim Vu, finished arranging the files on the table. Then he tilted his head slightly, looking at Lin Sin with a meaningful tone. If caught bribing, you won't just be arrested. Go to sleep early because tomorrow you will be transferred to the awakening prison. Before the door could close tightly once again, he quietly added, You should stay silent and calm to face this treatment. Lin Sin's anger kept rising. He hissed each word through clenched teeth. Meanwhile, at Bak Di's house, Van was restless, lying on the bed, while Bak Di tossed and turned, thinking that after 15 days he would be released. So before then, I need to be faster and stronger. In his cramped, rented room, Bak Di carefully placed the note back on the neatly folded blanket. Demons are the only choice right now. He cautiously stepped into the dilapidated, abandoned house, the warning echoing in his mind that demons can be born anywhere. It is a parallel space to our world, and will appear through a door emerging from nothingness to enter. Bhakti's body seemed to be covered by a faint aura. Most demons, after being explored, are occupied by guild teams. Bhakti recalled memories that in demons, there exist a large number of demon beasts and demon mineral resources. Leveling up is definitely the best choice for the awakened to increase their power. Stepping into a white room, he clearly felt the light shining from outside, casting his long shadow on the cold floor. He muttered that the demon dungeon is extremely dangerous, usually only after government reconnaissance can teams enter. His hand lightly touched the rough surface of an old cabinet wall. Faint memories appeared in Bhakti's mind as he reminded himself of his past life. 5 years later, this demon dungeon was reported in the media because it had been lost for too long and remained undiscovered until the demon race appeared. Invading the human world, it was only then discovered. To deal with potential dangers in demon dungeons, countless plans were proposed. Bhakti mistakenly thought a normal F-rank demon dungeon required 3 awakened people of E rank, or even more fasty. But if it's an E rank, it requires a team of 5, including 3 E rank and 2 D rank. Bhakti decisively pushed open the rotten wooden cabinet door. Revealing a dark void behind it, his eyes flashed with calculation based on the current time. The demon dungeon likely has a 90% chance of being F rank. He intently looked at the entrance of the demon dungeon ahead, where a deep red, eerie glow spread. A sign that this is an unexplored area. He silently thought this is also the lowest hidden rank demon dungeon he can now access. Bhakti timidly touched the pitch-black aura swirling before him, feeling a cold breath infiltrate his body. Bhakti's gaze quickly scanned the entire surrounding area, trying to gather every possible piece of information. He muttered that demon dungeons are full of dangers, requiring cooperation of various elements and professions to form a team to increase the chance of victory. Bhakti nervously swallowed a gulp of saliva, his determined eyes flashing in the darkness as he told himself that now he has no choice. He needs to rely on the fastest solitary speed to become stronger. Suddenly, the system appeared and asked him to enter the demon dungeon's danger coefficient. Bhakti's answer was decisive as he stepped through it. At this moment, the system displayed his full information. Bhakti, level 1, E rank. Profession, warrior, core system. Attribute power bonus 100%, 53 stamina, 61 elemental strength, 8 speed, 4,000, 100 mental strength, 11 comprehension, 26 skills. The faster he advanced into the icy domain, the wind howled stronger and stronger, snowflakes began to gently fall. Bhakti hugged his body, shivering slightly from the cold, softly whispering over a land covered in snow and ice. He feared this was the territory of cloud-type demon beasts. Then he briefly saw in the distance, through the blurry snow, a strange, dark shadow flickering. Bhakti's gaze stopped on a giant bear standing tall before him, then swept past dry skeletons. Scattered on the frozen ground, he whispered that someone had been here before. He softly exhaled into the freezing air, creating a faint white mist while silently probing the opponent's strength. This was an E-rank original ice bear demon beast, level 8. Still hibernating, before Bhakti could finish his thought, a strong wind roared behind him. Signaling something was rushing at a terrifying speed, Bhakti reacted swiftly, instantly turning around. His cautious eyes scanned around. There was a chance of collision. This is an E-rank demon dungeon. He looked up and around, wondering, if most of them were hibernating, is that why he wasn't detected? Suddenly, a bloodthirsty E-rank level 2 wolf demon beast, a fierce cloud-type demon beast, suddenly jumped out from the shadows, baring its sharp teeth and lunging straight at Bhakti. Even a wolf had a higher rank than him. In a split second before the wolf's sharp teeth could bite, Bhakti timely leapt into the air, avoiding the vicious attack. He landed safely on a relatively flat patch of ground. Some distance away from the original spot, the bloodthirsty wolf growled and charged again. Bhakti swung his sword, trying to block the wolf's attack, quickly jumping back. Then it suddenly changed direction, lunging to attack Bhakti from another angle, making him startled and lean aside to dodge. The wolf was panting. Its breath exhaled white mist, its blue eyes gleamed fiercely in the dark. Without hesitation, Bhakti immediately dashed forward. Determined to end the battle with a single slash, as Bhakti passed the wolf's body, it was instantly split in two with a heavy thud as the wolf's corpse fell down. Bhakti gently landed without being affected at all. He focused intently on the sword. The short blade lay neatly in the palm of his hand as he murmured, a grade A weapon hidden in the old man's safe. Not sold on the market, it just so happens to supplement his current lack of combat power. The system reported the weapon's attributes to him. A grade A weapon, the Ngo staff, crafted from extremely sharp Ngo stone. Cuts through iron like mud, strength plus 150, insight plus 50, stamina plus 100, life steal plus 20%, defense break plus 20%. Reading this, Bhakti slightly frowned, but the defense of this beast was quite high, even aiming at its weak points. It would still take 3 to 4 strikes to finish it. He shook his head, sighed, and reminded himself again. He began recalling the days when he was still at level L. Bach D started calculating mentally. To level up from E, the profession requires killing about 20 wolves. He looked at the system's experience progress bar. Received 52 experience points. Profession experience level 1, 102 out of 1,000. Accumulated elemental points from defeating opponents. System element level E received 50 points of cloud element, electric element over 10,000. Fire element over 10,000, cloud element 50 out of 10,000, nuclear element over 10,000, spirit element 50 out of 10,000, received an increase in snow wolf fangs. Bach D nodded thoughtfully. From level E to level D requires increasing 10 levels. Just as he closed the last page, a roar shattered the silence instantly. Several eerie shadows appeared right before Bach D's eyes. In front of him was a pack of fierce wolves, each a level 2 bloodthirsty forest wolf, level E cloud element beast. Even the leader was more terrifying, titled the Bloodthirsty Wolf King, level 2, level E cloud element beast. Bach D tightened his grip on the sword handle, his eyes cold. The scent of blood had lured them here. He glanced at the wolves in front of him suspiciously and muttered doubtfully, "Just leveled up and already planning to surround me?" The fierce wolf pack charged straight at Bach D, baring teeth and growling. Bach D roared and wildly swung the heavy sword in his hand. He struck the vital points with critical hits, aggressively attacking while skillfully dodging counterattacks. Although surrounded by the fierce wolf pack on all sides, Bach D timely unleashed sharp counterattacks, continuously showcasing his skilled techniques with critical hits to vital points, perfectly evading counterattacks. Bach D's eyes suddenly shone with a flash of determination. Just one final move left. In midair, he spun and swung his arm strongly, creating a beautiful and powerful sword slash. A dazzling beam of light descended from the sky, flowing gracefully like a silk ribbon, enveloping the fierce wolf pack. With each step, Bach D advanced. The system sound rang steadily, successfully killed a bloodthirsty forest wolf, received 52 experience points. You received 18 snow wolf fangs. Swift as a cut, Bach D closed in on the target, the bloodthirsty wolf king. Level 4, Level E, Cloud Element Beast. Bach D glanced cautiously around. There was still another wolf king. Bach D's eyes flashed with surprise. He gathered strength in his legs and leapt powerfully off the ground. Several sharp sword slashes flashed. Fresh blood sprayed like a shower of deep red flowers. The system announced, successfully killed the bloodthirsty wolf king, received 56 experience points, received 1 snow wolf diamond. Bach D quickly secured victory. This made him extremely excited. It seemed this way he would easily level up to D. The system continuously issued progress notifications. Level 1 experience points. 1,094 out of 100. You have leveled up to level 2, level E. Received 12 additional points. Please proceed to allocate points. You have leveled up to level 2, level E. Received 15 additional points. Please proceed to allocate points. After selecting the necessary stats on the virtual interface, Bach D could finally lighten his burden and sighed deeply. Clearly, he had only killed 20 wolves, yet he was already this tired. The after effects of the battle still made him dizzy and his body exhausted from overexertion. He thought silently that his level E stamina was still too weak. He needed to find a way to get a dimensional backpack, otherwise he would have to leave behind many dropped items. Bach D bent down to pick up the glowing red diamonds on the ground. Most of the demons were exclusive to the guild, so awakened people outside the guild found it very difficult to level up immediately. The system displayed detailed information about the item just picked up, Snow Wolf Diamond. A very sturdy diamond that can be used as special material for weapon crafting, market price about 10,000 NDT. After finishing everything in disorder, Bach D quickened his pace, silently reminding himself in his mind, because to have a chance to encounter a high-level demon beast, joining the guild is the only option. The school for the awakened under the guild is used to filter and select talents. The dream of most students is to become an outstanding graduate and be chosen by the guild. Memories of spirit life flooded back, making him frown. And if expelled from the team, it means he might never advance to a higher level again. After he was expelled from the guild, he was forever stuck at C rank. Bai Yi gritted his teeth and thought hard alone. Farming levels, but still too slow. Moreover, the temperature here is too low. The longer he stays, the more energy is consumed. He glanced at the pack of wolves approaching from afar. Better. This time, Bai Yi didn't choose to confront them directly, but turned and ran. Trees along his path were cut down. With the sword in his hand, he kept chopping down large, ancient trees. Bai Yi sped up nimbly like a squirrel, leading a pack of ferocious wolves behind him in the forest. Soon after, continuous rustling sounds and the cracking of trees echoed. Suddenly a giant python appeared. It seemed to be dragged into this state, and the bloodthirsty forest wolves shared the same fate, caught in this chaotic whirlpool. Bai Yi stomped hard on the ground, creating a dry scraping sound. He stopped and exhaled sharply. The temperature difference between his body and the harsh environment created a misty white smoke. Surrounded by a pack of ferocious beasts, Bai Yi took a deep breath to calm down. Using the quickest solution was the best. Bai Yi assessed the information of the beasts. Cloud Python Level 4 E-Rank Demon Beast of the Cloud System, Bloodthirsty Forest Wolves Level 4 E-Rank Demon Beasts of the Cloud System. While both sides probed each other, a thunderous explosion suddenly sounded from behind. The shock was so strong that even the monsters froze. Bai Yi squinted and glanced toward the source of the loud noise. The disturbance was enough to awaken all the monsters, and they would wake up. Unexpectedly, some bloodthirsty forest wolves were suddenly crushed to death by a giant object. A giant shadow appeared before Bai Yi and the awakened beasts. The ice bear was awakened. Level 8 E-Rank, Demon Beast of the Cloud System, in an angry state attacking targets at will with 20% extra damage. Bai Yi looked up at the giant ice bear, raising sharp claws, gritting its teeth. The ice bear in an angry state. He observed the monster wildly swinging its claws, slaughtering the bloodthirsty forest wolves. It would attack indiscriminately. Meanwhile, Bai Yi was not idle. He was focusing all his strength to eliminate the surrounding monsters, successfully killing a bloodthirsty forest wolf and gaining 52 experience points. You received double snow wolf fangs, successfully killed a cloud python and gained 56 experience points. Received one cloud python fang. In the opposite direction, the ice bear and the violent beast were still roaring continuously. Bai Yi paused for a moment, carefully observing its attack pattern, then muttered he just needed to stand aside and find an opening to seize the opportunity when the ice bear showed a vulnerability. Bai Yi quickly changed his attack direction, defeated several other monsters, successfully killed a cloud python, and gained 56 experience points. Successfully killed a bloodthirsty forest wolf and gained 52 experience points. Received 3 cloud python fangs. Received double snow wolf fangs. Bai Yi swung his sword continuously, skillful like a killing machine. Although E-rank beasts were very fierce, basically they had no brains. At this moment, the system announced he leveled up to level 4. E-rank received 12 additional points. Please proceed to distribute, he frowned. This bear not only helps me attract firepower, but also saves most of my strength, moving and calculating at the same time. In the blink of an eye, Bai Yi closed in on the giant python, but if he wanted the experience points to drop on him with a powerful leap, he had to last hit it by cutting the python's body in half. The pack of bloodthirsty forest wolves and cunning pythons were lurking behind Bai Yi, waiting for the right moment. He sat down heavily, trying to regulate his rapid breathing. Although helped by the bear, he was still very tired. After feeling sufficiently recovered, Bai Yi tightened his sword in hand, stood up, and declared it was time to move on to the next act. He turned to face the fierce pack of wolves, baring their teeth after the battle caused too much damage. His endurance was almost reaching its limit. Bhakti's body was screaming in resistance against the ultimate limit, the ice beneath his feet cracking loudly. The spreading water lines like a spider web, the fierce snakes and bloodthirsty forest wolves roared wildly and simultaneously charged forward. Bhakti knelt on one knee on the ice, gathering all his strength to plunge the blade down, his eyes blazing with fire. Then come down with me. This strike caused the ice surface to tremble violently, creating a small earthquake spreading throughout the area. Throughout the battle, I have been observing the surroundings. This is not a frozen lake, he muttered. This is an ice bridge connecting 2 mountain ravines. After Bhakti destroyed the ice bridge, the bloodthirsty forest wolves lost their balance and fell freely into the bottomless abyss. The system coldly announced, successfully killed a bloodthirsty forest wolf, gained 52 experience points. Countless monsters continuously fell into the bottomless abyss. The system emitted dry sounds, signaling a sharp increase in experience points. Successfully killed a cloud snake, gained 56 experience points. Successfully killed a bloodthirsty forest wolf, gained 52 experience points. Shortly after, a level up notification appeared before Bhakti. The emotionless voice echoed, "You have leveled up to level 7, received 12 additional points. Please proceed to distribute." Received 13 snow wolf fangs. Received 2 snow wolf diamonds. Received 8 cloud snake fangs. After dealing with that chaotic crowd, Bhakti turned around and faced the remaining demon beasts preparing to charge at him. He sighed and thought silently. By this method, most demon beasts have been dealt with. His eyes fixed on the ice bear, crazily swinging its claws, muttering about his remaining stamina. Just need to deal with these remaining ones. Bhakti gritted his teeth determinedly, thinking this is the fastest way to level up. At that moment, the system announced the achievement of the title, One Against Many, while facing multiple enemies. All stats will increase by 10%. Bhakti stood there with his back to the deep abyss opposite. It was a fierce polar bear and a bloodthirsty forest wolf, baring teeth and growling. he muttered. But at the start, I was thinking about a question. In every demon beast pack, there must be a leader, a final boss, Bach pondered, trying to find an answer in his head. The demon beast pack leader at level E must be like the brutal Lion King at level 10 with the recent commotion, yet it's still not enough to awaken it. The polar bear in front cautiously stepped forward to probe. Bach frowned suspiciously. Why hasn't it appeared until now? Before he could steady himself, the giant white bear suddenly let out a resounding roar. A sudden cold energy surged. Bach was startled and turned around. This was ice element magic, he thought for a while as faint blue auras still hovered around him. Bach shook his head slightly. No, I think I was wrong, just as that thought flashed in his mind. Invisible streams suddenly transformed into sharp arrows flying straight at him. Quick as a flash, Bach leapt backward just in time to avoid danger. Turning around, he ran on all fours toward the dark ravine, muttering, "It's not that it hasn't awakened, but that it's waiting for an opportunity." Behind its pure white fur, the polar bear's body. It seemed like it was armored with solid ice. Perhaps it was calculating, wanting to wait until all of us exhaust much stamina. Then it would rush here. Bach pupils shrank, his heart tightened as it charged forward. A chance from which there was no escape. In an instant, a layer of frost quickly covered and tightly bound Bach bare feet. Bach froze in place, his feet numb, feeling the cold air blowing over him, the freezing sensation spreading fast. He lowered his face, eyes fixed on the icy ground, his voice hoarse. The ice bridge was also a trap it created. Bach feet seemed frozen to the ground, his whole body almost turned into an ice statue. It only needed to appear at the last moment to be the beneficiary. Boiling anger made Bach grit his teeth. He looked up at the giant ice bear in the cave, in such a low-level cave. Yet it concealed a supreme power, with a figure watching down on Bach stunned. A big question mark appeared in my head. Does the Domain Lord have intelligence? The system immediately scanned the data and reported the results. Level Murmote, D-Rank Magic System, Cloud Domain Lord, Demon Quake Lord Thung Lum. Level Murray, E-Rank Battle Demon System, Cloud Deputy General, Demon Hound Thung Lum. The strange expression of Demon Lord Thuring Lem gradually became clear. His blood-red eyes flickered beneath thick brows full of murderous intent. Bach squinted, his cold gaze like a dagger fixed tightly on the screen, his tone full of astonishment. Demon Quake Hidden Peak. Bone Ice E-Rank Demon Quake Special Existence. Domain Lord with Intelligence. System Leader. Level 11. D-Rank Magic Demon System. Cloud Demon Lord Thuing Lam. High Danger and Risk. Recommended to challenge 5 E-Rank and 3 D-Rank opponents. When Bach was surrounded near the mountain pass, it was early Saturday morning, the 23rd of May 2015 at 2:10. In the Demon Quake hidden level, his eyes behind the ice layer still stared fixedly at the monsters in front. Frozen completely, if this continues, it will soon cause his body temperature to drop dangerously. Demon Lord Thuong Lam raised a finger, pointing at Bach, then grunted. A monster under its command immediately launched forward. The other monster charged straight at Bach. He clenched his teeth, realizing he could only. The demon hound raised its arm high. At the moment, its palm shattered, the ice layer surrounding Bach's body. The demon hound's red eyes slammed its hand down, intending to crush him. Demon Lord Thurng Lam, sitting far away, was slightly startled upon seeing this. In a life-or-death moment, Bach swiftly dashed like lightning. He used the system's skill to select the right timing to block the attack precisely. It could completely negate 100% of the damage within 0.09 seconds, with a chance to reflect physical damage entirely back to the opponent. Blood spilled from the corner of Bach's mouth. He clenched the blade tightly, staring straight ahead, using all his strength to break the ice, but this would consume a lot of stamina. The previous move was a different skill. Awakening the body, using all his energy, he had a chance to immediately break free from control status, but it drained a lot of strength. Bach rubbed the blood running down his chin, preparing to unleash such a powerful magical attack again. It would require a certain amount of time. He looked at Demon Lord Thrung Lam, who was showing interest from afar. He had to take advantage of the earlier moment to kill him. Demon Lord Thrung Lam raised his long, eerie hand, then immediately clenched it tightly. This action was like a command. All the monsters below, including the ice bear and the bloodthirsty forest wolves, all charged toward Bach. He stood still in the cold wind and snow, tensely watching them. Facing Bach directly now was the calm Ice Bear, Level 8, E-Rank Demon Beast, Cloud System. He raised his head to look at the huge figure 100 times his size in front of him. The core system was the counter to the Cloud System. Bach's pupils contracted. His mind quickly turned. Moreover, with his current stamina, It would be very difficult to defeat those two monkeys. The opponent's formation was clearly divided. The one in control was level 11, D-rank magic cloud system, domain Lord Demon Quake Lord Thrung Lam. Below him was the calm Ice Bear, level 8, E-rank Demon Beast, cloud system. Below that was the bloodthirsty Forest Wolf, level 2, E-rank Demon Beast, cloud system. And finally, closest to Bach D was, level 10, E-rank Battle Demon System, Cloud Deputy General Demon Hound Thuring Lam. He swallowed hard. If there were even more like this. Without giving Bach D much time to prepare, the Demon Hound in front quickly attacked. He raised his blade to block its strike. Then the victory was uncertain. Another Demon Hound attacked Bach D from the right, swinging its arm across his head. Bach D quickly jumped up, then crouched down again. He used his blade to brace against the ground to stabilize his body. Gritting his teeth, he couldn't do anything. Without even a moment to recover, the Ice Bear in front moved at lightning speed. Bach D clenched his teeth, staring at it. The Ice Bear swung its arm powerfully down where Bach D stood. He reflexively jumped back a good distance like a small cannonball. Bach D raised his eyes to look at the Ice Bear. Alone, he had to face countless enemies. The environment was too cold, and his stamina was almost at its limit. The original in front moved at the speed of light. Bach D gritted his teeth and stared at it. Bearbang Nguyen swung his hand and punched hard where Bach D stood. He reacted as fast as lightning, jumping back a long distance like a small cannonball. Bach D raised his eyes and looked at Bearbang Nguyen. Alone, he had to face countless enemies ahead. The environment was too cold, and his stamina was almost at its limit. The Lord of Pain Lamb in the distance smirked. Bach D raised his sword and used the skill Ice Storm Block. He was stunned, staring ahead. How come its skill cooldown was so fast? Bach D's eyes were filled with fear and nameless shock. After a moment, he bit his lip tightly, his gaze becoming sharp. Bach D recalled that in his previous life, he often faced many different difficulties. After many confrontations with adversity, he developed the ability to sense opportunities. He only had two choices. Bach D swung his hand to break the flying ice shards while thinking, choice 1. Stay here and continue fighting, but his stamina had reached its limit. Even when taking all the damage and continuing to fight many high-level ghost beasts, his human form flickered in the darkness, so the survival rate was 0. Choice 2, Bach D. Turned to avoid falling boulders like meteors, ran close to the cliff, then jumped up just a moment before leaving. A thin layer of ice suddenly rose to catch Bach D's leg. When his body was covered in ice, Bach D still chose to struggle and fall down the mountain. The Lord of the Forest was slightly stunned. Even the Ice Bear and the pack of bloodthirsty wolves were startled and looked up. Bach D was frozen and fell down the canyon. His eyes, hidden behind the ice, seemed huge. In the blink of an eye, Bach D was close to landing. Meanwhile, at his small house, the sound of knocking gradually echoed as Nuvan pushed open the door and stepped inside. Really, every weekend you sleep this long? As soon as she entered, she was startled to see an empty bed in front of her. The blanket on the bed was neatly folded with a note. Now is 21/5, May 23, Saturday, 7 a.m., inside 2 Duyate Mansion. She walked over, picked up the note on the blanket. It read, Mom, I went to a friend's house to play and will come back late. Don't worry, okay? Nuvan stared at the note, frowning. No, if he went to a friend's house, he would definitely tell me, and there's no need to leave a message. She looked up and sighed silently. Little D, what's wrong with you? Nuvan recalled Bach D's appearance. Since yesterday coming home, you look like a completely different person. Why do I feel so worried and uneasy like this? Meanwhile, inside the demon cave, a piece of personal ice stained with blood lay floating on the water, drifting along the river below the canyon. Bach D recalled when the ice bridge broke, nearly 100 ghost beasts fell. He tried to reach out and grab a small rock on the shore. Bach D coughed twice from choking on water. He tried to recall the system notifications at that time, but he only leveled up to rank B. Now Bach D was trying to crawl ashore, proving that only about 60 of them had been killed, so 40 remained alive. At the moment he decided to jump down, he realized something. Under the cliff, Bach D's finger tried to move. He tapped the ice wrapped around his body. There must be a river. The ice surrounding him shattered, and Bach D fell freely, sinking into the river below. Then choice 2 was his only chance of survival. Now he lay exhausted on the ground but broke the ice once more. And nearly exhausted all his stamina. The system continuously warned of low temperature status and continuous blood loss. Weak and unable to move, Bach D was seriously injured not only from falling from such a height into the river, but also from other causes. Bach D tried to breathe. The system repeatedly warned him of low temperature and continuous blood loss. Weak and heavy eyelids, Bach D's eyes gradually closed to the extreme limit. Bach D was still lying faintly on the ground with repeated warnings of low temperature status. Continuous blood loss and weakness, a giant beast with 2 sharp fangs appeared from somewhere. The Ice River Overlord, level 9, E-rank fierce beast of the cloud system, was slowly advancing toward Bach D, who was sinking into his own subconscious. Memories drifted to the image of a shimmering cup of wine. Kid, you're back. Why didn't you come to me to drink? Amlak reached out to Bak D, who hugged him. There was also the call of Little Lamb, the boss. Tonight, let's sneak out to eat foie gras, or Lu Suyen was always busy in front of the workboard. Bhakti, what does this data mean? Hurry and help me check it out. Nu Van's worried face. Is the wound on your head very painful? Then Bhakti suddenly saw the despicable smile of Lord Thuong Lam. The petty expression and malicious tone of Lin Sin. Go die. A mysterious shadow made a shooting motion toward him. Go die. Red eyes flickered in the dark. Go die. The words echoed in Bhakti's mind. You're only this much. All goodwill and ill will suddenly flared into a fire that burned everything. Bhakti's clenched hands on the ice also twitched unexpectedly. There will be no limit. I cannot have a limit. When the Ice River Overlord approached, Bhakti finally sat up. Any regrets from the previous life had arisen. He straightened his hand and grabbed its sharp fang. The Ice River Overlord was stunned. Its pupils contracted, blood vessels in its eyes bulged, and the pale yellow iris of Bhakti flashed in the darkness. I will absolutely never let that happen again. He used force to try to break the Ice River Overlord's fang. I have already lost once, Bhakti growled. I have already died once. He lifted his leg, raised his knee high, borrowing strength from his legs, and quickly kicked the fang away. I will absolutely not die again. Then, taking advantage of its unpreparedness, he turned his hand again and punched it far away. Bhakti gently landed on the ground, stabilizing himself by planting one foot firmly. Bhakti exhaled a breath full of cold air. Pale yellow spiritual energy swirled around him as he stood up once more. There were demonic beasts surrounding him from front and back. Only in a desperate situation could one activate the profession advancement. Bhakti lifted his indifferent eyes to look at the Ice River Overlord before him, choosing to solo grind the demons and attract the beasts to jump off the cliff. The bloodthirsty forest wolves behind opened their mouths wide and howled a few times. Now behind Bhakti was a level 7 E-rank demonic beast Arctic bear of the cloud system and a pack of level 2 E-rank bloodthirsty forest wolves of the cloud system. In front was the Ice River Overlord, level 9, E-rank fierce beast of the cloud system. The Ice River Overlord opened its mouth wide. Its two fangs had been broken in half by Bhakti, he muttered, continuously pushing himself into desperation. Bhakti suddenly remembered the spirit life, just to regain the feeling he once had at that time. Because he had experienced the great desperation, adrenaline was maximally activated. His eyes flickered in the dark, adrenaline surged, his long hair fell down, covering his eyes. Bhakti, that feeling had returned. Adrenaline activated profession advancement. Clicking sounds kept ringing. The system continuously retried and sent new notifications to him. Because conditions were insufficient, Profession Advancement 7 failed. He had learned the Holy Swordsman skill of the core system at an advanced level. He lifted his head again. The pale yellow in Bhakti's eyes had deepened, but it was still not enough to advance the profession. Yet he had obtained this supreme skill before. He tightened his grip on the blade in his hand. Now, Bhakti slightly curled his lips into a smile. He confidently looked at the demonic beasts before him. I will clean you all up, the system notified again. Because he had experienced the great desperation, adrenaline was maximally activated. Because conditions were insufficient, Profession Advancement 7 failed. He had learned the Holy Swordsman skill of the core system at an advanced level. Bhakti's gaze was extremely sharp. The Ice River Overlord in front roared and charged straight at him. Bhakti quickly entered his defensive stance. He touched the blade with his left hand, stepping back slightly. Bhakti's blade tip pointed backward, where the Arctic bear was also preparing to pounce. Bhakti swung his blade in an arc. A burst of energy immediately shot out like a wind sword, striking the demonic beast Tin Toe. Bhakti slightly raised his head to look at the Ice River Overlord before him. At this moment, a series of new system notifications arrived. Successfully killed the bloodthirsty forest wolf, gained 52 experience points. Successfully killed the Arctic bear, gained 64 experience points. Bhakti glanced at the now lifeless body of the Ice River Overlord. Successfully killed the Ice River Overlord, gained 66 experience points. He raised his hand, spiritual energy still wrapped around it. The system continuously sent information. Gained Blood Sacrifice Human X1, gained Ice Beast X1, gained Proud Barebone X2, leveled up to level 8 E rank, gained 12 additional points. Please allocate to Tin Toe. Activated effect to dispel fatigue and restore stamina. Gained Snow Wolf Fang X16, gained Diamond Snow Wolf X16. Now Bhakti was burning with fighting spirit. The system promptly notified him of a new skill and awarded the title Ice Wanderer. Resistance against cloud system creatures plus 100, damage reduction from freezing. Learned the supreme skill Tin Tho. He looked up at the sky through the narrow gap of the canyon. Time to return and collect 10 eyebrows now. Bhakti's new information board was also updated by the system. Bhakti's level was 8, E rank, profession, warrior of the core system, attributes. Additional ability, plus 100% strength, 113 plus 150 stamina, 71 plus 100 elemental power, 12 speed, 51 comprehension, 26 plus 50 spirit power, 11 skills, current weapon, Ingo level blade, made from Ingo stone, extremely sharp, able to cut iron like cutting mud, strength plus 150, comprehension plus 50, stamina plus 100, plus 20% blood loss, plus 20% defense break. You glanced around and successfully killed the bloodthirsty forest wolf, gained 52 experience points, and leveled up to level 9. You received 12 additional points. Please allocate them. Bach Dai wiped the blood off the sword while walking. After reaching level 8, I could clearly feel that killing. Level E monsters had become extremely easy, and now I hardly felt cold anymore. You walked while wiping the blood off the sword, activating the rogue ice effect, plus 100 resistance to biological system. Van reduced ice damage. Bach D looked up at Hong Cuong Thinh. It can accumulate all the damage taken and release it to the entire group at once. Only after accumulating enough fatigue and damage can it be activated. You reached out and grabbed a rock protruding in front of you. Thanks to it, my strength has fully recovered. System notification. Not Phuong Tin Tho. Effect activated. Removes fatigue and restores stamina. Bak Di climbed step by step, clinging to the cliff. I don't know how long I've been in this demon cave. I need to hurry back or Mom will worry. At this moment, the snowstorm was blowing fiercely. A small house suddenly appeared in the snowy sky. Inside sat a person in the center. On both sides were monkeys hanging upside down by their tails from the beams. Lord Thuong Lam silently sat at the head position, opened one eye, and looked forward. Something fell with a bang straight onto their small roof. Bak Di stepped on the ice bear and greeted. We meet again. Under your feet is a level 10 E rank, the highest level E monster, successfully killed the ice bear. Calmly gained 64 experience points. Bak Di stood on the back of the ice bear. Lord Thuong Lam still sat in place. Staring ahead, it moved a finger to command the demon servants. Lord Thuong Lam whispered softly. The demon servants quickly stomped the ground and rushed toward Bak Di, raising their hands to strike him. Bak Di's eyes sharpened. He gently raised the sword in his hand to block. Within 2 seconds, Bak Di successfully dealt with one. System notification. Successfully killed Thuong Lam's demon servant, gained 70 experience points. Lord Thuong Lam inside, seeing this, lost his composure and angrily swung the staff in his hand. This move of Lord Thuong Lam is called Ice Violent Burst. Bak Di was not weak either. He charged straight into the formation. The system used immunity skill. In the blink of an eye, Bak Di approached Lord Thuong Lam. Cloud system resistance effect activated, successfully freezing and minimizing damage taken. Lord Thuong Lam quickly stood up, turned around, and reached into the bag on his back. He pulled out an ice crystal with shimmering colors. The demon servants, after a moment of hesitation, quickly reacted and stood in front of him. Bak Di looked at Lord Thuong Lam and said, Once I deal with you, I can pass through the demon servants at lightning speed. He can reach rank D. The system used the blink skill. When speed increases to 100%, the instant blink effect activates, allowing him to pass through obstacles. One slash cut through. The arm holding Lord Thuong Lam's staff. He was stunned and couldn't react in time. When Bak Di dashed past Lord Thuong Lam's body, he staggered slightly. Blood splattered from his arm onto his face. Lord Thuong Lam glanced back. Bak Di also turned his head, raised his hand, and coldly said goodbye. With a few tie-by moves, Bak Di finished Lord Thuong Lam right there as the final slash fell. System notification. Successfully defeated the level 11 cloud magic system. Rank D leader Thuong Lam, Chi Lord. Gained 1,000 experience points. Bak Di knelt on the pedestal where Lord Thuong Lam had just Saturday. The demon servants panicked and retreated. System notification. Successfully ranked up to Nuclear System Warrior Rank D. Nuclear System Warrior Rank D gains 100% all attributes. Currently, level 11, gained 12 additional points. Item waiting to be collected, 10. Suddenly Bak Di heard rustling by his ear. He frowned. The system added, Enough cloud system elements have been accumulated. A new profession is about to unlock. Bak Di was a bit surprised, having been so focused on fighting that he forgot about this. So, the cloud system elements have been fully accumulated? He looked down at the sword in his hand. Then system, asterisk swish times he successfully received the profession. A level 1 cloud system mage can switch professions at any time. Bak Di goes from one surprise to another. He gaped, the red profession, though only at E level. But because red inherently has a 200% power boost, the stats are even comparable to my current D-level warrior. Bak Di bowed his head looking at the pile of loot on the ground. The system quickly scanned the weapons. D-level mage weapons, demon stones increasing elemental power by 40 points and spiritual power by 40 points. Can expand magic range by 50%. The D-level magic bag can hold up to 20 items. Bak Di bowed to pick them up amidst the stunned looks of the demon servants. When he stood up straight again, holding the bag and the staff. This sudden action made the demon servants flinch. Bak Di's pupils changed color, the spiritual energy around him turning red. If that's the case, he raised his hand toward the demon servants. Only a few soldiers remained here. Bak Di smirked. System confirmed successful switch to Cloud System Mage. He raised the Lord Thung Lam's weapon toward the demon servants. Let me try this new profession I've never played before and see how it is. Time passed like that. In reality, it was already 5 a.m. Sunday, the 24th of May 2105. Nu Van anxiously sat on the sofa at Tu Du Yate's house, hugging her small body. At that moment, the door suddenly swung open. Nu Van's teary eyes widened. She quickly stood up, looking toward the noise. Bhakti smiled at Nu Van. Mom, sorry to keep you waiting. She went to hug him tightly. Bhakti softly comforted. Mom, I've always waited for you. You haven't eaten yet. He smiled, whispering, Mom, I have a proposal. Do you want to hear it? Bhakti told Nu Van, let's move out, forever away from him. He thought of the bag he picked up. From Lord Thuong Lam, using this magic bag, besides necessary weapons, more than 10, most precious items I brought out. The next day he took a diamond out to meet someone. The man opposite held the diamond, examining it. An 800-carat diamond? Let me have it. Before he finished, Bhakti interrupted. 8,000. The man's eyes widened, shouting, are you kidding? Just this diamond and you want that price? As soon as he finished, Bhakti immediately snatched the diamond back. If you don't want it, I'm leaving. The man shouted, wait, you can't ask for such a sky-high price. 2,000 NDT. 2,000. I'll take all your goods. Bhakti shook his head, countered with 5,000. The man shouted again, 3,000 per diamond, no higher. Bhakti directly raised the price to 6,000. The man was shocked. Why are you raising the price again? Bhakti said 7,000. The man panicked and quickly agreed. All right, 7,000. Don't shout anymore. After reaching an agreement, Bhakti took the bag of money and left. In his past life, he knew many intermediaries trading demon minerals. These things could also be sold for a good price. He counted the money in his hand. With this money, he could rent a pretty good house for his mother. Bhakti took Nu Van to see houses. He understood very well that in her past life she never had a peaceful day. Bhakti looked at Nu Van's dazed expression in the new house. This life, I just wanted to enjoy a leisurely life. Seeing his mother satisfied with this place, he directly negotiated with the broker. The broker quickly shook hands, praising him profusely. Big Brother is indeed straightforward and decisive. Paid a deposit for 3 months in advance, 15,000 yuan per month. Water, electricity, and management fees are all free. 8 p.m. Sunday, the 24th of May 2105 in the rented house. Bhakti tilted his head looking at Nu Van happily cooking. It had been a very long time since he saw her smile so relieved. Later, he went into the room, sat on the bed, thinking about a few things. The house issue was settled. I also leveled up to D and received a new profession. Bhakti carefully carved the diamond in his hand, but he was still in prison. I still can't let my guard down, he thought carefully, before this matter is completely resolved. I can't take revenge recklessly. Bhakti looked down at the bracelet just finished on his hand. Tomorrow he had to return to school. Then the system notified, D-level demon stone weapon, a stone containing demon power that can be sharpened and carried. Elemental power plus 40. Spiritual power plus 40 can expand magic range by 50%. He clenched his fist. Now he could go find that thing. 8 p.m. Sunday, the 24th of May 2105 elsewhere. A person stepped out of the teleport gate. Several subordinates followed. Cuong Thinh sighed. Young master has improved a lot again. A girl stepped forward to give him water. Brother, take a rest for a bit. But Cuong Thinh turned his hand, flicking the bottle away. While there's still time, let's go to the next demon grave. Train a little more, he smiled, a triumphant smile when he remembered Bhakti. No AI can improve faster than me. The announcement sounded, level up successful to BA level assassin system, he thought to himself. In the simulated combat test, I will show everyone that AI is the real genius. Meanwhile, in another high-rise building, someone was standing by the floor-to-ceiling window. A girl was looking at the information of the new batch of awakened ones, none of whom had a gold-class profession. Her whole body seemed to be covered by a thin layer of yellow light. It seemed this simulation test was nothing to look forward to. 7:30 Monday morning, the 25th of May 2105 in the rented house. Nu Van had finished breakfast for the two of them. She smiled, looking at Bhakti. Now he was devouring his breakfast. Mom, why didn't you wake me up? Nu Van squinted and smiled, seeing her child sleep so well. She really didn't want to wake him. She reached out to stroke his head. Eat slowly. Sometimes being a little late is okay. He tilted his head and smiled at Nu Van. Yes, it's been a long time since I had such a peaceful sleep. I've never had breakfast with Mom so peacefully before. Suddenly, she patted his shoulder. Bhakti was startled and grabbed Nu Van's hand. Mom? What's wrong? She smiled and hid her hand from him. Do you want something? Toys, books, or electronic devices? Bhakti laughed happily. Mom suddenly wants to give me a gift? What's going on? Nu Van pointed to the calendar on the wall. Next Friday is your birthday. Bak Di turned his head and was startled. Bak Di bowed his head slightly. So June 5th is my birthday. His hand resting on the table clenched tightly. It's been a long time. After Mom died in the previous life, no one organized a birthday for me anymore. Gradually, I forgot this day. He continued, biting his bun. What do I want most? What I desire most is already mine. Bak Di looked up at Nu Van opposite him. The corner of his mouth lifted slightly. Bak Di's eyes suddenly became sharp and cold. Next, I must complete my next goal. Kill him, an enemy whose true face I don't even know beneath his mask. At the Awakening High School, the teacher's voice rang out. Little chicks. You all must have rested enough this weekend. The trainer stood before them. Next is the stage of hell training. Simulated combat. Surely no one doesn't know the importance of simulated combat. Bak Di stood among the crowd listening to the trainer's voice at Awakening High School. We are the middle school division under the Divine Soldier Guild. The guild will always watch our every move. Unlike others' excitement, Bak Di's expression remained cold and indifferent. He heard the trainer continue. Simulated combat is the first stage for everyone to show their skills. After Awakening, this battle will be considered the graduation exam for middle school students, and the entire process will be broadcast live. He paused briefly, then emphasized an important point. The person with the best performance in this simulated combat will have the chance to join the high school division on the cultivation trip. The cultivation trip, the students below showed excitement. The cultivation trip is the closest opportunity to directly contact the Divine Soldier Guild. It only happens once a year. The trainer's face became serious. The school will organize the best students from both middle and BA levels to go to the Divine Soldier Guild's headquarters in Holy Korea. Bak Di frowned slightly. He repeated in his mind once more. The Divine Soldier Guild's headquarters in Holy Korea. He recalled the figure of an old acquaintance. That is where I met my master, and also that mysterious person was born. But that person and my master never had any connection. He only joined after I had already entered the Divine Soldier Corps. Bak Di's eyes widened. Desire seemed about to overflow. To find him now, I must get a high score in this test to infiltrate the cultivation trip. That is the fastest way right now. Suddenly, someone in front shouted, "This Friday is the simulated combat." Both scared and excited, blood boiling. I heard this simulated combat must enter the demon realm. Can we really do it? The trainer pointed toward the door. Then, now, let's start the official training. The first stage is physical training. This is the gravity room. Each person first runs 10 laps changing direction. Bak Di remained silent. The guy in front shouted, "The fiery guy is up. I'll do 20 rounds right away." You lifted your eyes to look. Everyone quickly lined up to enter the training room. When it was Bak Di's turn, he raised his head and spoke to the trainer. "Sir, I don't want to use this training room." Just one sentence. Bak Di refused to use the training room, and the other students all turned their heads to look. The trainer bent down to look at Bak Di. He snorted coldly. "I've heard about your conflict with Hong Cuong Thinh last weekend, but don't think that winning against Hong Cuong Thinh means you're so talented that you don't need training." Bak Di calmly replied, "I want to participate in more advanced training." As soon as he finished speaking, the trainer was startled. "Advanced? What do you mean?" He showed a contemptuous expression towards Bak Di. "Do you think there's something wrong with the current training method?" "Physical training." Bak Di raised his head to look at the trainer. "Physical training is necessary for all awakened ones. So entering the gravity room is not wrong, but running and turning is only suitable for warrior and assassin classes that need speed and coordination. Not all awakened ones need that," he calmly said, "like mages. Bone mages would be more suitable for the elemental room to train elemental control, even based on different attribute points. And personal habits vary, so training also requires different intensity levels." The trainer glared at him. "Are you trying to teach the teacher how to do his job?" Shich Nam tilted his head to look at Bak Di. "The training method you mentioned is exactly like what Mr. Dong Duong, the training instructor of the Divine Chi Battalion, once said." She frowned slightly. "But recently, Mr. Dong Duong just proposed this method. If it weren't for the audio recordings BA brought back for me, I wouldn't have known." Unexpectedly, Bak Di can think like that senior. The bespectacled one quietly called out, "Hey Bak Di, no matter what you think, you have to consider the teacher's dignity too. He is the most authoritative training teacher in our school, and you dare to propose such a straightforward suggestion?" As soon as he finished speaking, the trainer patted Bak Di's shoulder and called his name. He smiled brightly. "Your training method seems very interesting." The bespectacled one breathed a sigh of relief. He heard the trainer continue speaking. "It's just that the teacher hasn't thought it through completely." The other side, the trainer squinted at Bak Di. "But with so many students in the school, it would be very difficult to arrange according to each person's specialty in a short time. Frankly, the simulated combat is just a graduation performance. If done wrong, it could ruin a student's entire life." He turned to look at a long line of students ahead. As a teacher, choosing the future for students or letting students choose their own future is also a difficult problem. Bak Di remained silent without responding. Although his previous life had a negative family background, He was still lucky to meet many dedicated teachers, which prevented him from going astray during his growth. Later, he turned to look at the trainer. "Teacher, please trust me. This graduation performance, I won't let you down." The trainer quietly asked him, "So tell me, how do you want to train? You're awakened as a warrior class, right? I can adjust the elemental and neutral elemental rooms to the greatest extent." You raised one finger pointing to another room. The two nearby students and the trainer immediately startled when they heard it. "Elemental room?" Bach D scratched his head awkwardly. "That's right. Although I'm a warrior, I want my abilities to be more balanced, to challenge my own weaknesses." He thought silently, unable to say it outright to everyone. "I want to train more as a mage class." Sich Nam also raised his hand to the teacher. "I also want to train elemental control. Conveniently, I am a mage class." The trainer sighed. "Oh dear, how boring. It's up to you. Just don't embarrass me at the final exam." Cheech Ngam approached Bak D. "Hi Bak D, let's spar," but you coldly refused. "No, I'll go to the single room." Sich Ngam was puzzled. "But wouldn't sparring between two people be faster? Did you just refuse me?" Bak D nodded. "Yes." The bespectacled one stood watching the two talking from afar. Sich Ngam looked after Bak D's back. "You have provoked my fighting spirit." The bespectacled one sighed. "But I'm just a sidekick anyway. Can I find a place to be a little lazy?" The trainer immediately stepped forward to grab him, but Bak D entered the neutral elemental room, neutralizing at -10%. "My warrior profession is already too proficient, but the mage profession is still a beginner at this time. I need to quickly master it. The neutral element is reduced by 30%. Now some ice shards have covered Bak D's shoulder. Besides, I need to keep my trump card hidden. I can't let others know I've awakened another profession. This school is under strict surveillance by the gods. Every move is clearly monitored by them. Even your hair is frozen. If exposed too early, there's a high chance of becoming a target of those people." Bak D thought silently. "What about the classmates in this school?" Meanwhile, in another room, Sich Ngam is in a neutral element environment -1%, she muttered. "Bak D, I can't lose to you." Bak D silently determined. It's best not to form any relationships at all. After school, Bak Dai rode his bike home. Two classmates ran up behind him calling, "Hey Bak Dai, wait a moment." Bak D thought silently. These two have caught up already? The glasses-wearing one and the freckled one called, "Don't walk so fast." Bak D thought these two were allies from early high school in his previous life. Since they were all at the bottom and bullied, they gathered after school. In the previous life, when going home, the three of them always happily chatted. "In this exam, I ranked 2nd from the bottom. I've improved. Ranked 5th from the bottom. How about you?" "We still can't level up to BA." Bak D admitted. Those were the only joyful moments during his current high school period. He pretended not to hear them calling, but in this life, his goal was revenge. Useless friendships only slowed him down. Moreover, the glasses-wearing friend and the two behind were panting. What game is Bak D playing? Why run alone again like last Friday? He said he would be the worst BA. The glasses-wearing one asked the friend beside him. "Don't you feel he's stronger now?" The friend mumbled. Last time after awakening, he suddenly became very confident. The glasses-wearing lowered his head. "A cyclist? Who still wants a pedestrian?" Holy Korea, new recruit training ground by the coast. A few people are vacationing. Mr. Dong Duong lay on a sunbed, hearing that some new recruits recently joined the Divine Chi Guild. Their performance was excellent. He asked the person behind him, "You broke the level 6 record in every category, right?" The braided-haired man behind humbly replied, "Too kind, Mr. Dong Duong. I came to pay respects." 5:25 p.m. Monday. Bak D ate while talking to New Van. "That's right, Mom. From now on, please limit going out alone. I'll come home early at night and buy food to bring back." Seeing her nod in response, Bak D thought silently. This is still not enough. He chewed food while trying to think. I must try to find Mom a safer and more stable living environment. At the awakening prison, the prisoners lined up to get food. Lin Sin carried a tray to the food station. When serving, he skillfully gave money to the worker. Lin Sin whispered, "We have to rely on you." The person inside replied softly, "Don't worry, it's all arranged. Tomorrow I can go out." Tuesday in the schoolyard, Bak D practiced while thinking, "These days I've mastered the basic mage operations." Standing inside the neutral element room, the key was to calculate the release time and elemental force. In another room, the freckled one was also trying hard. "Today I ran 10 laps. Wednesday was also a quiet day." The glasses-wearing one tiredly slumped outside the schoolyard. Bak D just stepped out of the training room. The glasses-wearing and freckled ones approached him. "Want to have dinner together tonight?" Bak D turned abruptly. "No, I have to go home early tonight." The two sighed coldly, but Bak D suddenly spoke from the front. "Your archer skill activation time is too long. You need more practice." The freckled one behind raised a fighting spirit. "Yeah." Thursday after school in the school infirmary, the glasses-wearing sat at a desk listening to the doctor's advice. "Luckily you checked early." The doctor pointed to the X-ray on the wall. "This type of parasitic tumor in the lung, once developed, grows very fast." The doctor looked at the glasses-wearing. "You will need surgery at a big hospital soon to remove the tumor. Then it will be fine. He nodded slightly, hesitating. Thank you, doctor. I will go next week. The glasses-wearing recalled Bach D's words. He had said not long ago, if you have time, you must get your lungs checked. He lowered his head. If it weren't for the school health check, I wouldn't have gone on purpose. Looking at Cuong Thin's lung scan, the glasses-wearing put his hand on his chest. What's wrong with you? He knew his lungs had problems. Something happened to Bach D after leaving the infirmary. He walked outside alone. At this moment, a sudden conversation reached his ears. Did you hear? That strong kid cheated again. He's already leveled up to E4. This test will definitely rank first. In the corner of the hallway, some students were gathering. How did he do it? To level up, don't you need to enter the demon realm? Don't you know he has his own demon realm at home, specially for the family's military training? Wearing glasses, leaning against the wall, eavesdropping. Those guys don't know anything but keep talking. That's right, remember the guy who challenged him last weekend. The next words from that guy made the glasses wearer startled. After school today, he will look for that guy to teach him a lesson. I told you, with his personality, how could he suffer losses without doing anything? Before he finished speaking, the glasses wearer ran off. This time, he would drag that guy out of school. Surely he intends to act ruthlessly. The glasses wearer ran like the wind to find Bach D. This isn't good. I told you not to get involved with that trash, but I have to help Bach D quickly. He dashed like a rocket down the hallway and out of the school. He definitely has a plot to assassinate Bach D, maybe even calling others to bully Bach D alone. But the glasses wearer suddenly remembered something and slowed down. But what good would it do if I go there? The glasses wearer dragged his feet down the hallway. I'm just a green spell user, no attack skills. Maybe Bach D can handle him himself, he thought. I don't need to get involved with that Hong guy. The corner of the glasses wearer's mouth twitched as he muttered. Anyway, avoiding trash is my principle. The glasses wearer looked at the locked door in front of him. Soon after, the lock shattered. He pushed the door open, but Bach D saved my life, and my life belongs to him. Gritting his teeth, the glasses wearer thought, even if I die, I must go save my brother. He went inside, grabbed a big sword, and clenched it tightly in his hand. Bach D, wait for me. Suddenly, a voice came from behind. Why do you want to break into the weapons room? The glasses wearer, startled, turned around and saw Sichnam looking at him. What's wrong with this urgency? The glasses wearer suddenly shouted, I have to save Bach D. Sichnagam was puzzled, looking at him confused. Meanwhile, Bach D was alone, pushing his bike home. Entering a small alley, he stopped and said, Go away. You've been following me since leaving school. What do you want? Bach D called out as he stepped forward. Cuong Thin appeared, carrying a short sword radiating sharp energy. Of course, he came to settle the score, the debt from last weekend. Bach D turned and looked at him. Do you think you can beat me now? Cuong Thin didn't say a word and charged. Of course you think this time I'm going to... He showed a cruel expression. It would be useless. Cuong Thin used a skill to stab from behind, sneaking behind his opponent, then attacked. But a moment before he could stab, Bach D's sword suddenly appeared in his hand. Bach D didn't turn but waited, then swung his hand to slash. Cuong Thin was stunned, his pupils contracting as he withdrew his attack force. How could it be even stronger than mine? Bach D coldly glanced at him. Do you think you're the only one who can increase power? As he finished speaking, he twisted his hand, changing the sword's direction. The sound of a stab echoed. Cuong Thin's pupils trembled as he was pinned to the ground, with the sword pressed near his head. Only now did he realize in the first battle, Hong Cuong Thinh was unaware of this. But now, after a long time of training and growth, in an instant, he felt it. Cuong Thin looked at Bach D's dark and terrifying expression. Even though they were the same age, the person in front of him was someone he could never surpass. In Cuong Thin's eyes at this moment, Bach D was like a giant pinning him to the ground. After the shock, he shouted, You leveled up too? How much did you level up? How did you do it? Cuong Thin yelled in despair. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. After school, I trained more but only increased by 4 levels. I risked my life. Yet, how are you faster than me? Bach D remained silent, then smirked and muttered. Reckless, huh? Bach D slightly exerted force to lift the blade's tip off the ground, pressing the blade's edge close to Cuong Thin's neck. Have you ever died before? Cuong Thin was scared but still tried to be tough. Stop babbling. Now I'm in your hands. You can kill or torture me as you please. Your mother also didn't like me early on, right? Bach D withdrew the blade, only his hand still tightly gripping Cuong Thin's neck. But it wasn't to the point of hatred. You followed me the whole way but didn't choose to ambush or call any AI reinforcements, coming alone. He looked at Cuong Thin's angry face and asked sincerely, So you just wanted to find me to conveniently test your own strength, right? As if struck in the black heart, Cuong Thin shouted loudly, Stop talking nonsense or I'll kill you today. Or wait for the day I kill you. Don't talk to me like that. You've seen through me like that? Bach D turned his face away. I'm retracting that statement. I don't hate you that much. At this moment, 2 bodyguards, Kin Ken and Shich Nam, were hiding in a corner. Not far away, he looked. Look, they're over there, but it seems like the situation is like this. The two of them murmured quietly. Then we don't need to do anything, right? Bach D lowered his head and looked at Cuong Thinh. Actually, I've always been waiting for you. Let's make a deal, he suddenly proposed. I can tell you how to become stronger, faster. Bach D set the terms of the exchange with Cuong Thinh. But you also have to give me something. June 29, Friday. On the evaluation day, the instructors gathered the students in the yard. The 1-week training had ended. The instructor looked at them and announced the simulated real combat was about to begin. He spoke loudly. Before we proceed, I want to emphasize one thing. This is a simulated real combat. But we will still enter the real Ma Quat, the instructor explained briefly. Although most of Ma Quat's power has been sealed by barriers, it still holds dangers as before. There are many demon beasts in Ma Quat, so remember to act within your limits. The instructor pointed behind himself to ensure safety. We have also assigned excellent senior students from intermediate and advanced levels to guide you. They usually don't assist in combat but will intervene or interrupt if you are in danger. One of them smiled confidently, looking down at their group. The instructor continued explaining the team formation method. We will form teams of 4 to 5 people led by a senior. 4 advanced students will enter the dungeon. Moreover, you can choose the dungeon difficulty level F or E, he instructed them. Of course, dungeon level E is very difficult, so if you're not strong enough, I recommend you don't challenge it. Failure in the final trial may lead to losing credits. Pause a moment, the instructor announced. Now, let's start selecting the Ma Quat difficulty level. After all, students have chosen levels. We will assign based on rank, he shouted. Now, those AIs choosing Ma Quat level E, Sich Nam, and some students in the group raised their hands. Cuong Thinh also chose Ma Quat level E. Kin Can whispered to the freckled person beside him. They're really confident, huh? And yet they dare to challenge the dangerous level E dungeon? The freckled person stubbornly said, so what? If I weren't a blue profession, I would also after statistics. The instructor checked the list again. Good, 180 students total. 8 chose to enter Ma Quat level E. Sich Nam looked surprised at Bach D in front of him. Bach D didn't choose Ma Quat level E, the instructor continued announcing. The rest will be randomly assigned to enter Ma Quat level F. Suddenly, Bach D raised his hand and interrupted him. Wait, teacher, calm down. He threw a bombshell, causing the hall to stir. I want to challenge the school's Ma Quat Spirit King level D. The instructor was momentarily stunned, his eyes showing surprise mixed with disbelief. After a while, whispers erupted and cheers broke out among the students. Cuong Thinh's expression darkened, his cold gaze fixed on Bach D. The instructor couldn't help but remind him, are you joking? What AI would challenge a level D place? Before the teacher finished, a voice cut in, not aloud. Bach D glanced toward the source of the voice. Hong Luong just entered and spoke. He rejected Bach D's proposal. Level D Ma Quat is too dangerous. Usually, only those awakened to level D or above can enter. Bach D remained calm, his tone serene but sharp. In the school's handbook, hasn't it been stated that one cannot challenge high-level grade D demons? That's the rule of the combat simulation. It means you can choose your own level, he slowly continued. The school's purpose is to find outstanding talents for the Guild of Gods, and the criteria for such talents are courage, strength, responsibility, and talent. The atmosphere between the two grew tense. Bach D bluntly questioned him. Could it be that the homeroom teacher wants to take away my chance to prove myself? Why does Hong Luong keep finding excuses to refuse you? But our demons require a team to enter. Bach D frowned, looking straight at him confidently and said, I can do it alone. His gaze turned cold, no longer patient with him. This is the school's regulation. To ensure student safety, no one is allowed to enter alone, not even now. A sharp voice rang out. I also choose grade D. Her face full of joy surprised everyone around. Sich Ningam Hong Luong reacted in panic, looking at her. Are you crazy? If you get into danger, what will the teacher do? How can you talk to your dad like that? Sich Ingam's eyes burned fiercely as she looked at him. I also want to achieve the highest score, and I want to try. Hearing her words, his mouth twitched angrily, but he couldn't refute. Sich Ngam looked toward Bach D and winked at him. Contrasting her enthusiasm, Bach D inadvertently replied, I refuse. I want to go alone. Sich Ngam exploded, shouting at him, Hey, why do you refuse? The trainer just smiled lightly and patted her head. His refusal is useless anyway. Hong Luong stepped forward, raising his voice to scold the two. Really, one of you, then 2 of you, awakened but with wings already hardened, right? The trainer pondered. Then how about this? The grade D dungeon only allows 2 of you. Basically, there are no seniors willing to take the risk to lead you to. At that moment, a hand was raised. I will go. Tu Lang led a group in arrogantly saying, The flowers of the nation always need someone to care for them. The trainer nodded upon hearing that. All right, with Tu Lang here, I feel more at ease. Sich Ngam whispered to Bach D. Senior Tu Lang? It seems he is about to join the Supreme Corporation, right? You observed the person just now from the Supreme Corporation. Tu Lang then finally concluded, Never heard of him, while over there Tu Lang was also looking at Bach D. full of contempt. A peacock who doesn't know the sky and earth, so eager to show off in front of everyone, huh? You didn't even think about how much you weigh? To not keep everyone waiting, the trainer opened a space to enter the dungeon. He spoke sternly to the students. All right, the teams have been paired up, prepared to officially start the simulation test. The trainer loudly reminded, in the demon realm, there will always be pro devices broadcasting live, and the entire test process will be recorded, so show your best to see who can get the highest score this time. The atmosphere exploded. All students took a deep breath, eyes blazing as energy streams opened. Countless gates of various levels appeared. The school for the awakened was built on a large demon realm that had been cleared beforehand. The school grounds now shone brightly in the multicolored radiance of dozens of 10 swirling gates floating in the air, blazing red, deep blue, golden yellow. Each gate was a separate challenge, leading to simulated combat spaces where students could train skills and test their strength, including both general and large demon realm bases, often accompanied by many low-level demons ideal for student trials. The first students took a deep breath and stepped into the bright gate. Spiraling energy engulfed them in an instant, leaving behind a shimmering trail like faint bones. Amid murmurs and tense breathing echoing throughout the training area, most levels would be controlled between grade F and D when entering the dungeon. Then the combat simulation officially began. Only one thing troubled Bach D. The entire combat would be broadcast live, and every action recorded. He silently reminded himself that he must control himself and not reveal all his cards when facing unknown threats. Leading the three determined people, Bach D knew the demon realm spirit Jade had what he needed. The space inside was dark and silent. The cold, heavy atmosphere seemed drained of life. Tu Lang arrogantly waved his hand, speaking to the two others. Don't worry, I will protect you kids as long as it's a grade D demon that has unsealed. He said arrogantly that he and others have already conquered it before, when Zeech Ngum curiously asked if the level D demon beast was very strong. Normally it would be around level E to level D, level 5 to 15, because most of the demon beasts in the school have been sealed. So it's very difficult for a level D monster to appear, let alone a boss. He stopped there and raised his voice to warn. But even so, don't underestimate the high-level E monsters. Their attack power and speed can sometimes be extremely strong. After all, you guys just awakened, so in front of them you're just a bunch of chicks. Zeech Ngum listened attentively to Tu Lung's words. Seeing her expression, he nodded in satisfaction. I will do my best to help you find some low-level monsters to earn points, don't worry. With your senior here, I won't let my little sister get hurt. Bak D didn't care about his boastful words. He passed by the two of them and quickly went forward. Tu Lung stopped speaking and glanced at him. He pointed at him and questioned, Hey, you went ahead like that. What if you accidentally disturb the monsters? Bak D coldly replied in a low, sharp tone. You're talking too much. He turned around, his gloomy eyes passing over him. Just stand in line behind me. No need for you to intervene. Tu Lung was angry, trembling, gritting his teeth and muttering, What kind of girl is this? The silhouettes of three people were clearly displayed on the real combat simulation monitoring screen. The live broadcast of this year's event had started. Those who didn't enter the dungeon were excitedly watching the live screen projected in the schoolyard. Teachers in other rooms were also attentively observing the students' actions inside the dungeon. In the Supreme Student Council office, the deputy captain leaned against the door leisurely and spoke with interest. Captain, watch this live broadcast too. It's very interesting. He waved his phone. A student chose a dungeon level. Here it is. Amlak curiously asked, What profession is that? He excitedly answered immediately. This is the most interesting part. It's a warrior profession in blue, the most useless one. Amlak smiled faintly. Then I want to see where he gets his courage from. Wearing glasses, holding a ring, he shouted in panic. Don't come here! The boy was in a sealed level E demon beast dungeon. In front were his teammates fighting desperately against the demon beasts. The girl beside the glasses wearer helplessly reassured him. He's a spellcaster standing behind them, so no need to worry so much. Watching the demon beasts rushing in like level E firewolves and level E fierce cats, he ignored his teammates' reassurances and still shouted loudly, Why are level E demon beasts so scary? Elsewhere, a group of monsters was also gathering to attack humans at level F. Sharp fangs, level 2 intelligence, level E and sealed demon beasts. A group of students was severely injured. Only one person with healing abilities remained unharmed. He treated everyone's wounds while anxiously asking, Are you okay? Cuong Thinh fought alone against the strong demon beasts and told his teammates, You guys can't do it. Then I'll go alone. He rushed forward, stabbing the nearest beast with a knife, recalling Bak D's appearance that morning in his heart. Angry, he thought, I will definitely surpass you. Beside Bak D, the system board continuously updated new stats. Violence power plus 32%, critical hit plus 20%, lifesteal plus 15%. In contrast, Bach D only needed to swing lightly to easily take down a sealed level D demon beast. At the same time the beast was killed, the system popped up a notification: successfully killed Burm Note level 6, level E. Received 30 experience points. Not just one, around him were level E Bohm No beasts. No sign of life left. The sound of gaining experience points rang continuously, while Tu Leng was still stunned. Sich Ngam ran to Bak D, her eyes full of admiration. How did you do that? He didn't answer her immediately. Bak D glanced at two demon beasts approaching. At this moment, with Sich Ngam's eyes shining, he began to explain. The monsters here have been sealed, so their power is only half usable. That's why it's not hard to deal with them. Beside her, she kept praising him. Even with half the power, you still take on many at once. Beside her, he kept praising him. Even with only half his strength, he still fought many enemies alone. Seems like I'm still far behind you, huh? Bak D kept walking without looking back, casually saying, no need to compare with others. Coldly added, just be yourself. Sich Nam automatically ignored his unfriendly attitude. Still eager to learn, smiling as she followed him. Do you have to speak so coldly? I will try my best. But Tu Leng was annoyed by Bak D's indifferent attitude, silently cursing, damn you, acting cool for a while. He couldn't help but add a few warning words to increase his presence. This is a level D dungeon. Better not to think you're always right and just focus. Yet he arrogantly acted superior and lectured. Your performance is truly remarkable, but after all, this is your first time in a demon dungeon, and this place is a level BA demon dungeon. It's not easy to handle. I'm your senior, so here are some tips for you two who don't want to listen to Tu Leng's nagging. Bak D called Sich Ngam, you go right to deal with the monsters. You don't even bother to pay attention to his plan. I'll go left, where there's a magic formation still glowing, surrounded by the corpses of the demon beasts that Bak D just dealt with, but at the same time, another wave of monsters is approaching. Tu Leng shuddered. Damn it, is he ignoring me again? Bak D turned to exchange with Sich Nam. The monsters on the right are lower level. Can you handle them alone? She was a bit worried about going alone, both perfect, ignoring Tu Leng. Damn, kid, you're really disrespecting your senior. You're still focused on explaining to Zich Nom. This simulated combat is basically a personal ability test for everyone. After all, you came here for a test. Finally, you concluded with the most important sentence, so you don't want to get a good result? Zichnum nodded with determination. I understand. I can do it. The two separated to execute the plan. Bak D gave Tu Leng a cold shoulder, cursing silently, damn it, in a place he couldn't see. He summoned his weapon, looking at Bak D with a sneer, refusing the offered drink, wanting to drink a penalty drink instead. The large screen suddenly displayed images from multiple camera angles, capturing the chaotic scene as everyone fought with all their might. On the bloody battlefield piled with monsters, Bak D stood out like a war god, witnessing that scene. A voice of admiration rang out. Unbelievable. Bak D has already defeated so many level E monsters. The entire level 5 training team, including the instructor, glued their eyes to the screen, faces full of doubt and amazement. One person crossed his arms and stepped forward to question, what level is he now? Another person sitting in the control chair rested his chin and slowly replied, the report still records level E1, but the exact degree is unclear. E-Ba? It might even be E4. The other person hadn't finished speaking and added more shocking information. Not only that, he chose the monsters on the left and told Zeke and Gum to go to the right. The frame captured Bak D, a small teenager but with hidden potential power, standing next to two giant spiders full of dangerous roots. The person calmly explained, because he had observed the counter relationships between elements, so he let Sich Ngam, a flower element user, deal with the spirit element monsters, the others, and the head instructor silently pondered. The other person continued speaking with undisguised admiration. Although I know this is a personal ability test, he also knows how to allocate resources most reasonably. It seems he has quite a good overall perspective. In the instructor's memory flooded the image of the student at the training ground. Eyes determined and voice full of confidence echoed, Sir, please trust me. In this graduation performance, I will not disappoint you, the instructor laughed. Eyes shining with amusement and anticipation. This kid is quite the bragger. Next, let's see what other performances he has. On Bak D's side, he still kept a calm expression, despite blood splattering on his face. He could fight and think at the same time. Observing that most spirit element beasts appeared from the right cave, without hesitation, he swung his blade to finish off the monster, baring its teeth right at his feet. His mind never stopped analyzing the situation. Not only low level, but also countered by her fire element, Zich Ngam was no less impressive, holding a book, casting magic spells with mystical blue lights. Behind her were countless fallen monsters lying silently. Suddenly, a giant demon spider appeared, growling wildly, baring sharp, threatening teeth. Startling her, she hurriedly turned to look back. Sichnam gathered all his strength and shouted a command. Climb. Following that order, countless vines sprouted crazily from the ground. wildly wrapping around the giant spider's massive body, making it terrified, her beautiful face flushed red from the effort, her breath a bit hurried. Zeech Nungum gritted her teeth and shouted loudly, "One more!" The magical vine ropes tightened around the spider's body, lifting it into the air. Each rope shimmered with blue light, 6 eerie effects poisoning the spider, which screeched in pain and spat out a mouthful of black blood. Seeing her goal achieved, Zeichnungam smiled and raised her hand to signal the enemy to obey her command. The vine ropes gradually loosened their grip and quickly retracted, leaving the spider without support. It fell freely to the ground, lying motionless. Zeichnungam lightly brushed her hand over the magic book, and a notification appeared. Successfully killed a level Chwek spider, grade E, gained Degar who gain experience. Zeichnum happily clenched her small hand. Her eyes sparkled with joy. "I did it again," she said, standing at a distance to observe the entire process. While Zeichnungam was happily celebrating her victory, Bach D silently thought, when a level E mage masters the basic skills of their profession, in Bach D's mind appeared the image of Zeichnungam summoning sharp vine ropes. He murmured, "Her skill is to use plants to create a wall with poison, a floral mage skill." The vine wall rapidly grew, using plants, forming a barrier. The thorns on the vines had a certain poison effect. She was still joyfully confident from her victory. Meanwhile, Bak D couldn't help but admire her. This was the first time coming to Ma Quat, yet she could calmly handle monsters stronger than herself like this, and even thought of surrounding and narrowing the area to eliminate the monsters. She truly had talent. Bak D casually put one hand in his pocket, the other gripping the hilt of his sword. In front of him was the entrance to a deep cave. On the rock wall appeared a strange screen resembling a compass with 5 flames of 5 colors flickering. All grade D monsters were sealed. Watching Zeichnam fiercely fighting the monsters, he calculated in his mind that she could handle this group. Bak D kept a cold, unreadable expression, but his mind churned with complex thoughts. For now, that's enough. Even before the pro live, I can hide my strength and achieve a high score. His eyes glanced upward, one hand lightly stroking his chin as he carefully observed the barrier ahead. But he also had to remember the live device was still active, and they could enter together. What's the next step? How to proceed with the plan? In a hidden corner, Tu Leng wore a gloomy expression, eyes flashing with hatred, gritting his teeth as he thought, "You think you're capable? Yet you completely ignore your seniors." From a high position, he carefully observed all actions of Bak Di and Sich Ngam, then spoke thoughtfully, "If you can rely entirely on yourselves." Hidden in the shadows behind Zich Num, Tu Lung silently raised his bow, aiming an arrow straight at her, ruthless like a bloodthirsty demon. He released his hand, smiling wickedly. A brilliant golden arrow shot swiftly forward. "Try this then." The light arrow sliced through the wind, flying fast through the tangled vine ropes, brushing past Zishin Gam, making her terrified, her eyes wide open as the arrow flew swiftly. Piercing deep inside the dark cave full of dangerous roots, Tuleng feigned innocence, stepped closer, and sighed. "I originally wanted to help you, so why did you dodge?" Zeichnum was startled and turned around quickly. Momentarily speechless, from deep inside the dark cave, a giant figure gradually appeared. Its eyes gleamed golden, spreading terror. The monster dashed at Zeich and Gum at lightning speed, completely unaware of the lurking danger. The hideous 2-headed lion monster bared its sharp teeth threateningly toward her, a level 11 grade D 2-headed lion master. Zeichnum was stunned, realizing the approaching abnormality. Hearing strange sounds echoing, Bachdi hurriedly turned to look at the 2-headed monster, which roared and spat fierce fire columns, burning the vine ropes trying to bind it. Zeich Ngam's face turned pale as she struggled to use the fragile vine ropes to resist. Against the monster's terrifying attack, all the weak vine ropes quickly turned to dust in the hellfire. After destroying the troublesome vines, the lion opened its huge mouth full of sharp teeth, ready to swallow her. Zeich Nung stood frozen, raising her hand hopelessly, her face completely pale without any blood color, thinking in despair, "It's over." With a sinister expression revealing his deadly intent, Tulung smirked, his hand gripping the bow tightly, eyes flashing with viciousness and cunning. Something flashed through his mind like a lightning bolt in the sky. Suddenly, an ultra-fast electronic notification appeared. Speed will increase significantly in a short time by over 50% of the standard, related to reaction level and proficiency. Bak D rushed forward like a whirlwind, sharp as a blade. He swung his sword strongly, aiming straight at the monster's upper head. The monster roared wildly, but then a feeling of unease surged. He froze, eyes wide with horror. Hastily turning his head to look back, the other head of the monster was crazily attacking Zeich Num, the relentless strikes making her panic and retreat. Trying to keep a safe distance like a ghost, he appeared in a flash right in front of Zeich Ngam. He swung his sword down with terrifying power, fresh blood splattering everywhere. When speed increases by 100%, it can activate an instant appearance effect, bypassing obstacles ahead. The monster growled, its remaining eye blazing with fury. It stared fixedly at Batji and Zitnum, ready to charge, his face tensed. His eyes revealed worry as he raised his sword high to shield the trembling, frightened Zichnum behind him. Why is this monster's speed so fast? Tuleng stood with arms crossed, showing no intention to help, instead flashing a sly, cunning smile. I know this demon well. Although most level D monsters have been sealed, only one dual-headed beast in this demon is malfunctioning continuously. The fierce lion growled, step by step approaching the two of them. A proud thought echoed in Tuleng's mind. No matter how arrogant and complacent you are, you're just newly awakened soldiers. How could you handle a level D monster? The fiery monster before him displayed overwhelming power. Bach D clearly understood the critical situation, especially since he was also boosted by skill enhancement, the arrow light state. Gravity reduced by 10 times. Damage and speed significantly increased. This is the fastest two-headed lion. Bach D clenched his fists, focusing all his concentration on the ferocious beast. Strange, glowing patterns on the monster's body signaled its power skyrocketing exponentially along with its erupting rage. Violently attacking, adding 10% speed and 50% damage, Bach D's eyes glued to the monster's entire body. He assumed a solid defensive stance, wondering if he had to use his full strength, hurriedly signaling Zeech and Gum. His voice full of worry. Step back, you can't handle this monster right now. Like being pulled back to reality, she bit her lip, thinking, damn it, I was so cowardly, before she could calm down. The monster charged at terrifying speed straight at Bach D instead of fleeing. Zeichnum quickly opened the summoning book, mumbling, the ivy vine's wall. Hearing this, Bach D turned around in surprise. Suddenly, lush green ivy vines sprouted from nowhere, rushing toward the monster, tightly wrapping its body. Seeing a glimmer of hope, she continued chanting the summoning spell with a determined expression, adding another layer. The monster roared furiously, wildly struggling and biting the tightening ivy vines. 3 layers of ivy walls. Witnessing the strange scene, Bach D was stunned, slowly turning his head back. With resolute and determined eyes, Zeichnam strongly patted her chest, earnestly asking, can I fight alongside you? I won't hold you back. Even if it's a level D, I want to face it together. Witnessing the scene, Tulung grimaced, his face showing undeniable surprise. Is there something wrong with this girl's brain? Just now, she was almost eaten by the lion, but Bach D breathed a sigh of relief, his tone carrying reassurance. I thought you were scared, Stiff. You recover your spirit pretty fast. The compliment seemed to give her strength. She clenched her fists, showing iron determination. Of course I've worked this hard, I can't lose here. Zeichnam turned around, eyes blazing with faith, looking straight at Bach D and affirming. Zeichningam turned around, eyes blazing with faith, looking straight at Bach D and affirmed. Moreover, with you here, I cannot die. Bach D turned with a worried tone and instructed him to use 2 BA-level skills at once. But his elemental power was limited, so next time he couldn't waste any more. She also clearly understood that. Quickly replied, of course I know. In Bach D's mind, memories from his past life flooded in. In his previous life, Zeichningam shone when still in middle school. Another memory fragment appeared, recreating the image of her radiant and passionate greeting everyone. I am Zeichningam. My ideal is to join the Guild of Gods and then become a divine official. He deeply felt about her. A confident, optimistic, and generous young lady, the image of Zeichningam was always surrounded by people. Admiring and respecting her clearly appeared, although he heard she came from a family with a deep background. But she was very kind to everyone, was class president in middle school, and always serious and responsible. Then another image appeared, Zeichnam grown up, graceful in a wedding dress. After that, no news about her, maybe she lived a normal life, but before him was someone trustworthy. Bach D smiled confidently, his gaze glanced back, as long as nothing unexpected happened. I can hide my power and get through this gate. Tulang stood behind, watching the two with contempt and then mocked. Really think just relying on you two is enough? This wall of vines simply can't hold it even for a few seconds. The more he thought, the angrier he got. His face scrunched up with frustration. Real combat is not just about confidence. With your strength, you simply can't deal with this enhanced level D demon beast. Tulong's face distorted fiercely, his eyes wild like a beast out of control, harboring dark schemes in his mind. When the time comes, you will beg for mercy and only be able to rely on me. He was lost in illusions about the future. Muttering bitterly, I will teach you the meaning of order, completely breaking free. Just then, the monster tore apart the demonic vines and crazily charged toward Zeichnam and Bach D. He outlined a battle plan and instructed Zeichnam, I will lure the lion, it is a core system type, so you must know the timing. Without hesitation, she replied, I understand. At that moment, Bach D shouted. Then both jumped out of the monster's claws and quickly split in 2 directions. seeing the monster roaring and fiercely chasing closely behind. Bach thought to himself that he had just inflicted damage on it, so now it prioritized chasing him. Both hurriedly chased each other, then stopped and replayed when reaching the lakeshore without hesitation. Bach dove into the swirling water. The monster at the bottom let out a terrifying, angry roar, determined not to let its prey escape. The monster also plunged into the cold lake, continuing the chase to the end. Bach seized the opportunity, spun around, and shouted loudly. At that moment, the sharp fangs of the fierce monster were only a few millimeters from him. Bach couldn't help but feel a bit uneasy. Suddenly, vines sprouted from the lake. Tightening around the monster's large body, it wildly struggled and roared desperately. On the shore, Sichengam focused intensely, casting complex spells like a seasoned mage, persistently locking down the fierce monster. The monster, in pain and rage, opened its mouth full of sharp teeth and roared, expressing extreme anger at being trapped. Sensing the golden opportunity, she decisively shouted orders for the thorny vine talisman to surround and tighten. The vines tightened further, binding the monster's massive body. From those vines, deadly poison seeped through the sharp thorns deep into the flesh, completely nullifying the core system effect. Unable to escape the poisoned state, Bach quickly leapt out of the lake and landed firmly right in front of Sichengam. With confident eyes, he swung his sharp sword powerfully. It can't escape now. Next, let's finish the test and get the highest score. Tulang's eyes seemed unable to believe what had just happened, his eyes wide and mouth agape in shock. In his mind echoed a fearful thought. How could a wall of vines imprison a lion? Even I couldn't control it so easily, and it was enhanced by me too. Bach group, with smooth coordination, successfully imprisoned the giant lion with countless strong green vines. Tulang gritted his teeth, his anger exploding, unable to suppress the frustration inside, but couldn't hold back from cursing you motherfuckers. On the other side, the experts were closely monitoring every development on the big screen. One of them spoke in a thoughtful tone. If you put a nuclear system lion into water, its ability won't be fully utilized. However, the power of the flower system underwater can be enhanced by using the simplest elemental counter. Plus, coordinating with teammates, it was easy to counter a higher-level monster. His reaction ability and leadership skills are also very outstanding. The trainer stood with arms crossed, eyes attentively observing. Giving sharp and experienced evaluations, the trainer continued analyzing with a confident voice, implicitly affirming the result. The top spot of this real battle seems obvious. Only one final move remains, eyes following the injured lion weakly drifting on the water surface. The trainer slowly said it could completely kill this lion. Then the entire video would be sent to the guild for review. He might very well get the highest score in history. Before the trainer finished speaking, the screen suddenly went dark. Everything plunged into darkness. The unexpected incident caused everyone to be very confused and worried. Everyone was buzzing, live broadcast cut off. And why now? Back at the scene, the camera was shattered after the fierce fight. No need to look far, the culprit was definitely Tulang. He smirked, thinking confidently. Without video evidence, don't even think about getting the highest score. Meanwhile, Bhakti's group was still unclear about everything when he praised. Luckily, it was because of your ability. The system announced they successfully killed the two-headed lion level 11, grade D, receiving 100 experience points. Sichengam modestly replied, "No, it's all because I listened to the commander." But before she could finish, Bach interrupted. "That's because you've trained enough elemental resistance to use one skill with so many variations to catch it." Hearing that term sounded strange, Sichengam frowned and hesitantly asked again about elemental resistance. Suddenly Tulang appeared, breaking the group's cheerful atmosphere. He frowned and said, "Enough already. You guys defeated the boss, so stop chatting and go outside to talk." Tulang turned and walked away. Annoyance crept into his mind as he muttered, "That's enough." As if reading Tulang's thoughts, Bhakti tilted his head slightly and asked, "You also know clearly that a grade D monster suddenly getting stronger means something, right?" Tulang grumbled back, "I already said it was to help that girl get stronger, but who told her to dodge?" Bhakti retorted sharply, "Then your level is pretty low." Hearing that, Tulang showed obvious irritation, frowning and scrutinizing Bhakti with suspicion. "As a marksman, is this the best aiming ability you can do?" Sichnam sneered sarcastically. "No wonder you weren't chosen for the school's top student group." Feeling insulted, Tulang gritted his teeth, anger exploding as he shouted, hands ready on his weapon. "What did you say?" Bhakti quickly rushed forward, blocking to protect Sichengam from danger, already annoyed inside. Tulang, witnessing this scene, became even more uncomfortable and hateful. The tension seemed about to explode into a fight, but suddenly, everything fell silent. Tulang suppressed his anger, sheathing his weapon coldly, and said, "The road ahead is still long. You just wait for me." He gritted his teeth, threatening, then turned and left. Leaving a heavy atmosphere behind him, Bhakti and Sichengam stood silently like statues. No one spoke. Suddenly, Bach D realized the camera had been violently destroyed as he approached and picked it up to examine carefully. Sheech Ningam irritably spoke, "This senior's personality is really annoying," then turned to Bach D and curiously asked, "What are you doing?" Bach D didn't answer immediately, lost in thought. Did he do this to prevent us from getting a high score? Now no one can see what's happening here anymore. After he goes out. Now no one can see what's happening here anymore. After he goes outside, he will have to apply for an entry permit first before he can come back in. Seeing Bach D lift the video recorder, Seech Ningam asked in surprise, "Isn't this inside?" Bach D's mind echoed with calculations. "Others are also quite far from this ghost trap, so I still have enough time." He faintly smiled mysteriously. His eyes flashed with a mischievous gleam, then slowly said, "He has helped me with one thing. Now I have the chance to do the rest." Xich Ingam was still confused about the situation, her face showing clear embarrassment as she hesitated and asked what he meant. What exactly did he want to do? After a while, the two of them arrived at another location. In front was an ancient gate covered by a complex formation. A strange red glow spread around, creating a mysterious and terrifying atmosphere. Bak Di stood firmly before the gate, his hand ready to tightly grip his weapon. His voice deepened as he spoke. "Class President, the next event is about to happen. Can you keep a secret for me? Even if you tell others, no one will believe it." Hearing those words, Seech Nam became even more confused, her face showing clear panic as she asked, "Keep a secret? No one will believe it? What exactly are you planning to do?" Bak Di didn't answer immediately. He leisurely put his hand into his pants pocket. It seemed like he was searching for something important. Memories flooded back to Bak Di with words from long ago. "When you were still manipulating others, you also have to give me something, the demon stone to release it. It's at your uncle's place." From his pocket, Bak Di took out a strange stone that shimmered with countless colors on its surface, engraved with ancient mysterious characters. He slowly said, "I will bring this demon-sealed spirit jade." As he spoke, Bak Di gently placed the stone on the ground. Immediately it lit up, emitting a magical radiance. Bak Di continued with determination in his voice to completely release it right away. The stone released swirling dark energy streams, carrying a dangerous energy source, but Bak Di still kept a calm expression, unshaken as he witnessed the scene before him. Seech Nam was terrified to the extreme and hurriedly rushed forward to stop him. "No, this is a level D demon seal. If you release it, all these high-level demon beasts will appear." The ancient stone suddenly flared up, unleashing countless violent energy streams. The surrounding space began to shake violently. Bak Di still maintained a calm expression. He reassured Seech Ngam, "Don't worry, their power is still affected by the sealing strength." But hearing that, Seech Nam's worry didn't lessen, she stammered. "Even so. Just the two of us to deal with so many level D creatures?" Bak Di replied calmly, "No need for two people." And immediately, a blazing red magic circle appeared from his wrist. A radiant aura enveloped Bak Di's body. Hidden power surged. Seech Nam's eyes widened in astonishment as she exclaimed, pointing at Bak Di, stammering, "How can you?" Bak Di tightly gripped the giant staff in his hand, emitting an overwhelming aura. He calmly said, "Just me." Seech Ngam couldn't believe her eyes. Horrified, she exclaimed, "How can you still transform into a mage like that?" Bak Di turned to Sheesh Ngam and entrusted her. "You protect the entrance." Suddenly, a group of fierce lions appeared, struggling inside the circle. The chains were about to break free. They roared, revealing sharp teeth. Then the chains snapped, and the lions burst out aggressively, rushing toward Bak Di. Seeing this, Sheech Ngam was extremely panicked. She anxiously shouted, "Be careful! The giant lions are charging to pounce on Bak Di!" He immediately took a fighting stance, raising the staff high. It emitted strong beams of light. The system announced, "Switch to Mage System, Level 5, Rank E." Bak Di shouted powerfully, the staff glowing brightly, combined with the power flowing throughout his body. The light from the staff rushed to attack the lions. Sheech Ngam was amazed and said hesitantly, "Red profession. I had a hard time controlling just one lion. The lions were now frozen. They temporarily posed no threat." Seech Ngam continued, unable to hide her astonishment mixed with admiration. "Yet you controlled 3 in the blink of an eye." Bak Di cautiously assessed. "These monsters have been trapped inside for so long, they must have gone mad and will soon rush out together." He seriously suggested, "I need a bigger place." Seech Nam seemed to understand Bak Di's meaning and confidently replied, "I know." Suddenly, beast footsteps rushed over. Another danger appeared, this time a pack of fierce leopards. Their eyes glowed red, bodies emitting dangerous sparks. One called a flame leopard, level 12, rank D, charged to attack Bak Di. Their bodies were also huge and aggressive, no less than the lions earlier. He immediately prepared to fight. Bach D swung his staff to dodge the attack, silently calculating, these monsters are level D? But being sealed for so long, the power must have weakened by at least half. The system displayed the ice transformation staff lighting up, emitting a freezing aura that froze everything. Bach D swung the staff, controlling the power flow as he wished. He silently thought. His mage skill was ice transformation. The system showed a note. Ice transformation instantly condenses water in the air into ice, thereby controlling the opponent using his advantage. Bach D calculated that first, he had to control all of them. He successfully froze and controlled the leopard, but just as he dealt with this one, another rushed at him, appearing suddenly from behind. Bach D quickly realized and immediately switched power, changing to the warrior system. This time it was a fire sword soldier, level 13, grade D. It looked stronger than the previous one. It bared its teeth and claws attacking. Bach D's body now carried a different power source. Bach D swiftly struck. A flash of light aimed at the leopard's mouth. He thought irritably, trying to ambush me, huh? Bach D moved nimbly, distracting it so the giant leopard couldn't see him. Then Bach D suddenly switched power. Back to the ice staff. Switching to the Cloud Mage system, Bach D gathered strength and launched a decisive blow at the leopard. It was frozen motionless under the ice layer. Sich Ngam, who had been watching, was astonished. She thought silently, can he really switch professions at will? Observing Bach D fighting tirelessly, seeing the power of the ice staff wasn't ordinary, Sich Ngam understood quietly. Moreover, looking at his current actions, she could understand why he wanted to enter the elemental room back then. Sich Ngam's face was full of contemplation. She recalled the reason for elemental resistance training. The nature of the mage profession was Sich, to transmit energy directly in the form of natural power or control objects of the same element within a certain range. Previously, she thought the stronger the mana released repeatedly, the stronger it would be. Sich Ngam recalled the moment when she was studying a book and exclaimed upon learning the information inside, why doesn't it condense? Returning to reality, Sich Ngam continued her thoughts, but after witnessing his actions, she realized that controlling power was even more important than the elemental power from nature. Wild, primal, and very difficult to tame, Bach D was still dealing with the wild beasts. From the staff's power, he controlled many ice blocks flying high. Sich Nam continued to consider, only by fully controlling one's elemental power can one use more varied techniques. Even a basic skill can be used in many ways. Bach D now controlled the ice blocks containing the bodies of the beasts to fall straight to the ground. A series of giant ice blocks fell, creating a huge shock. Sich Ngam widened her eyes in amazement at the scene before her, looking at Bach D's back standing proudly before the chaotic life below. She thought silently, he must be very familiar with this already. Sich Ngam lowered her head in frustration. All of us have long been left behind by him. She bit her lip hard enough to bleed, looking very sorrowful or nostalgic. But then, completely opposite, she looked up happily, her admiring eyes shining like thousands of stars. So cool. Suddenly, a huge foot with claws slammed hard on the floor, creating a significant shock on the ground and around. A giant purple mammoth. With large, sharp tusks, its whole body radiated a red aura. Its red eyes stared fixedly at the frozen red leopards. Information appeared. Spirit Lord, Demon King level 15, Grade D, Hell Mammoth. Sealed state, attribute halved. Bach D was not afraid but seemed pleased, his eyes full of delight looking at the creature before him. Finally out, the mammoth rushed quickly toward the ice block holding the previous monsters. Bach D's whole body emitted a blue aura. He summoned a sword, switching to the warrior system. He silently calculated. What he needed was on you. Standing before the large, rushing mammoth, Bach D did not run but stood firm in an offensive stance. Bach D jumped up and stabbed a sword right into the monster's forehead, causing it to leap up in pain. Critically wounded, the blade pierced deep inside. Then he moved as if carving the monster. The mammoth lay down in great pain after the recent attack, and you quickly jumped off it. But the white tail continued to attack relentlessly. Blood splattered accordingly. The level 15 mammoth, after being sealed, was weaker than a level 10 lion. The mammoth was continuously attacked. Its eyes increasingly blazing red, becoming more terrifying, it rushed quickly toward the white tail, landing full of rage. Not letting it take the initiative, you jumped up quickly, each strike relentless, aiming straight at the mammoth, causing it to scream in critical pain. Unable to stand, the mammoth collapsed to the ground, its eyes still full of anger. From the white tail's eyes, a powerful golden light radiated. Your whole body emitted a strong aura. With cold eyes like a knife, the golden light followed your blade's path, striking straight at the mammoth. The scene looked magnificent, activating the title 1 against 100. The mammoth screamed in pain and agony accordingly. The monsters in the ice were also successively eliminated, successfully killing the level 12 leopard grade D, earning 110 experience. Notifications of monster kills appeared one after another, successfully killing the two-headed lion, level 11, grade D, earning 100 experience. Successfully killing the leopard flame, level 12, grade D, earning 110 experience. Successfully killing the fire sword soldier, level 13, grade D, earning 120 experience. Successfully killing the hell mammoth, level 15, grade D, earning 1,000 experience. Obtained 10 bone fragments worth 10,000. Received high-grade materials. Tusking used as ingredients to craft the She-Flame invincible weapon. Nuclear system weapon level 5. Electric element over DS, 000. Fire element 3, 500 over DS, 000. Cloud element over DS, 000. Nuclear element 3, 200 over DS, 000. Star element 1, 450 over DS, 000. In your hand was a glowing elephant tusk. You clenched it tightly, face cold with a complex gaze. You approached the mammoth's corpse. On the ground lay a deep pink gem shaped like a sphere. The gem emitted a faint light. The gem responded, a pair of king gems with special functions. You were delighted. Finally got it. Level up notifications appeared one after another. Nuclear System Warrior rank rose to level 13, grade D. Cloud System Warrior rank rose to level 11, grade D. Received bonus points. Click to open details. You looked at the notifications in front of you, silently surprised. The Mage also reached grade D. The notification appeared again. The title 1 against 100 upgraded to Alone. Surpassing the stage when facing enemies alone, all attributes increased by 20%, and lifesteal effect increased by 10%. After a battle, looking at the monsters lying scattered before you in silence, you approached with hands in pockets and said, as if awakened from deep thought, she was startled. He asked, "Do you remember what I told you?" She suddenly didn't react in time, eyes wide, mouth slightly open. Notification appeared. Fire System Mage upgraded to level 7, grade E. The trainer along with her and another teacher hurriedly ran off. The trainer shouted angrily, "If the seal is truly broken, it will be a big problem. Such a huge energy fluctuation has never been detected before. I told you to find someone to accompany you." Running to the stairs, saw the silhouette of Ziling. The trainer suddenly stopped. "Why did you go outside? Weren't you inside protecting the juniors?" Ziling looked up at the trainer but couldn't say anything. The trainer quickly ran past. "He can't manage many things anymore. Hurry over there." Ziling suddenly turned and asked again, "The seal is broken?" He stood still, watching the backs of the teachers rushing quickly. Ziling snorted, smiling joyfully. "See, karma comes fast!" Entering the barrier, the trainer shouted loudly, "Whitetail, Shi Yan!" The trainer, seeing the two, worried and about to say something but stopped. You and Ji Yan calmly approached. You looked up and asked, "Teachers, why are you here?" Hearing the question, the teachers were startled. The trainer hesitated and asked, "Is the seal broken?" They looked at the seal, which was still intact, scratching his head confused. Could the machine be wrong? But then didn't question further. The trainer sighed in relief. "If not, that's good." May 29, Friday. Before school ended, Ziling stood at the door, smiling happily. In front was the vice captain of the Supreme School Team holding some papers. He was happily daydreaming about the vice captain. "The documents I submitted this time should be enough, right? The last team member position." The vice captain winked awkwardly. "Really sorry, Captain. We have already made our choice." Tu Lang was stunned, unable to believe it. "Who is this person?" He stepped forward, grabbing the deputy captain's two hands tightly and shouted, "Didn't I say this position will be left vacant for the most valuable person? Could it be that my strength and background are still not enough?" A woman slowly approached. "We have found the most valuable person," Laksa said, stroking his chin with interest. "That Baidi guy is very interesting." Information appeared. Lak Assassin, Yellow Electric System, High Level. Friday night, 5/29, at a small food stall near the train tracks, Kim Vu was sitting there with Lin Sin. He exhaled a puff of white smoke, his face scary as he rested his chin. "Hey, don't cause any more trouble," he warned. Information board appeared. Investigator, Supervision Team, Divine Official, C rank, Blue Collar, Tran Kim Vu. He continued, "I worked hard to get you out early." Lin Sin, with messy beard, kept eating without stopping. "Of course I know," Kim Vu said, eyes glancing around carefully, his face darkening. He moved closer to Lin Sin and whispered, "I got the news. Captain Hong will come next Friday." "Do you know?" the man reassured him. The phone on the table rang. It was Lin Gang's call. He looked displeased. "That old man is calling again. I'll head back to the team first." "You should go home early too," Kim Vu said and left. Meanwhile, he walked slowly, saying, "Of course I will." Lin Sin's face was full of menace as he slurped his noodles. Going home early already. Lin Sin's angry face was full of veins, his teeth clenched tightly. In front of him was a quiet house. Lin Sin angrily looked around. Where did those two die? He threw things around the house, breaking them, screaming as he did so. "You bastards dared to run away from me?" Through the glass on the wall, Lin Sin's furious face was reflected, gritting his teeth and neck, his whole body trembling, growling in his throat. "If I catch you," he slammed the glass, shattering it. He shouted angrily, "I will kill you two!" Scene changed to Bai Di putting his hand on the woman's neck in front of him. Half of a dark pink Tai Chi jade. This jade is called responsive jade. Van was a bit surprised, looking down at the jade on her chest. He instructed, "Mom must always wear this from now on." Bai Di raised the jade hanging on his chest. "I have one just like yours." He explained further, "If one day you are in danger, crush this jade. At that time, my jade will sense it, and I will come to you immediately." 2 jades, one broken, one intact. Like a blood tie connecting them, Van reached out and held both his hands. Bai Di looked at her with affectionate eyes. "Without this, I really wouldn't feel at ease going out alone." Van's face was full of emotion, looking straight at Bai Di, thinking silently, "As far as I remember, Mom has never received a necklace or any jewelry before." He smiled gently, eyes full of love for her. "She never had anything that belonged to a woman." Van waved her hand to signal. "Son, don't cling to Mom. At this age, you should go out with friends more often on weekends." Baidi squinted and smiled brightly, comforting her. "Don't worry, I don't have that kind of need." She was a little worried, grabbing his hand. "How can someone not need friends? You must always have important people in your life." Seeing that, he briefly glanced at her again. The smile on his lips gradually disappeared. Baidi turned to look at his reflection in the mirror. Important people? In the mirror, he recalled images of Amlak, Lucian, Little Lamb, and other teammates, silently regretting whether he could meet them again. In this life. 11:58 p.m. Before a level D wild demon, red smoky mist spread throughout the space. In short, now the Jade issue is resolved, I no longer have to worry about it. In front of the building, Bai Di stood in the space enveloped by thick red smoke. This is another hidden demon I know. It only opens for a short time at midnight and closes at 1 a.m. Hidden demon, suitable difficulty level. Therefore, I don't have much time. He held the sword without hesitation and stepped inside. Now, I must focus on improving myself. His footsteps were firm as he stepped out of the red smoke. In front of him was a monster like tree trunks, with a flower-like head. With a face having 4 eyes and sharp teeth, in his past life, I became a top-tier warrior. Wild Demon Lan, level 15, rank D. Bloodflower Guard, level 13, rank D, took a fighting stance. Bai Di moved closer to the monster, but he could only watch his teammates die before his eyes. In his mind, he recalled the recent moment. "Friends?" Lao was as fast as an arrow, his face serious, swinging his sword strongly. Back D's blade tore the monster into many pieces. It couldn't react or dodge in time and gradually vanished. Back D lost the light in his eyes. Notification of achievement appeared. Received item, Bloodflower Wings BA. He was still immersed in his own thoughts. So what if I have it? A slash from him cut straight into the face of the giant monster, opening its mouth toward him. Crouching below, waiting for a day filled with passion and divine guidance, Back D leapt up. The ground cracked from that. He attacked frantically, not giving the monster a chance to react. A deadly blow. Thoughts in his head kept going. If this continues, we'll die with no place to be buried. He landed, body bent down, ready once more. With determined eyes looking straight ahead, he resolved that he needed to be stronger. Mission completion notification appeared. Successfully killed Wild Beast LAN. Gained 320 experience. Monsters surrounded everywhere. They rushed to attack. Bhakti was not weak. He jumped up and counterattacked them. Faster. His body was bitten by the monster. Blood poured out from there. Back D gritted his teeth in pain but did not lose heart. Stronger than everyone else. His eyes showed red veins. It was like an invisible blade that could pierce the opponent any time. Back D moved like an illusion, dodging, unleashing sharp sword strikes, eliminating monsters one by one, successfully killed Wild Beast Lan, gained 320 experience. A series of successful kill notifications appeared. Received item, Poisonous Insect, 6. Bak D looked haggard but his eyes were still determined. He bit tightly on a vine from the monster. "I have to fight desperately." He recalled Lin Sin's figure with bloodshot eyes, sneering, throwing a punch at him. "I'm still too weak now. I can't even beat that guy." A fragment of memory appeared again. Back D recalled the traitor from his past life, not to mention the genius who was a yellow-class marksman since childhood. He forced himself up, his body covered in blood, wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth. "Because of that, I have no detours or shortcuts." Back D stepped forward, each step filled with determination. He could not avoid any enemy. He courageously advanced toward the giant monsters staring at him hungrily. Back D's whole body emitted a blue aura,